Hey, it's Brooklyn Lou the Skeptic, and I'm gonna do this live. I hope to hear from some people who want to chat just about anything. I am an atheist, former evangelical Christian, and I've been an atheist for about 10 to 12 years now. And I like to open up my channel to open dialogue, chat. Doesn't have to be a debate. I'm really not into debating, but I want to open up my channel to people who want to chat about religion, about psychology, about sports. I really don't care because I just want to get to know people. And I'm going to post that's a link to get into this chat if you want to come in, or you can just write in the comments section. When I say chat, I mean just talking. I don't have notes. I don't consult with a chat GPT. I don't look things up. I just really like to talk. So anything I say is my own opinion. It doesn't represent anyone else. I don't represent all atheists. I don't represent any particular group of people. I just speak for myself off the top of my head. That's how I roll. Okay. So if anyone wants to chat, come on in. I'm going to hang out a while to see if anyone shows up. I always put a priority on trying to invite various theists into my chats. I do that because I want to hear from them, whoever you might be. I'd love to talk. I love to know why people believe what they believe. I love to know about their personal experiences. And I love just to have that type of open conversation. I think it's important and vital in the world we live in today, which has become very divided on so many different things. And I always want to feel, I guess, that I'm a person that is open-minded and open to hear different ideas. And that's why I do this. I want my channel on YouTube to be a place where people can feel free to talk, to write, to express themselves, even if I may not agree with it. And if I do, that's great too. Oh. So if you happen to be watching this, share it. I invited people in, but I never know what to expect, obviously. And I don't have this enormous following of people. So I just kind of play it as it goes. Play it and see what happens on these live streams. I'm not a professional. I'm not a scientist. But I'm fairly well read. At least I think so. At least more than some people. But if you want to come in and chat about anything, come on in. All are welcome. So let's open this conversation. This here is my little office in my house. It's where I decided to do these videos I do and any chat that I do. It's a bedroom in my house that's not being used, but I'm using it now as an office. And I got a laptop, and that's all I operate from. Not super high tech, but it gets the job done. There's a link once again. If anyone wants to be heard, anyone wants to use my channel to get their voice out, come on in. I titled this chat. Hey, Dark God 6, how you doing? I titled this chat Ask an Atheist. And I did that because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. And I think questions are awesome. Right? I think it's how we grow as people, asking questions. And I know a lot of people do not get to speak all that often with atheists in the religious community. They kind of stay together, and I want to always be open. Hey, Thomas, thanks for stopping by. Glad to have you. Ontario, Canada. What was it that led you to my atheism? Well, pretty much it was a self-study of many different subjects pertaining to the Bible and the belief that I was, a part of for many, many years. And in about 3 years, I say it took before I decided I just really didn't believe the Christian faith anymore. I was a Christian for much of my life, but after about 3 years of independent study, I came to a point where I didn't think Christianity was true anymore, and started with, I guess, evolution, because I was a biblical fundamentalist. I kind of believed the literal account in Genesis, and also it led to many, many other things. And I didn't want to leave Christianity. I'd say it was one of the more difficult things that I've done in my life, because I wanted to stay in it. I wanted to believe the things I had built my life upon, but I had to be true to myself. So that's what led me out. And it's been about 10 to 12 years since I have been out of religion altogether. Good question, by the way. Is it illegal to turn your Bible? Certainly not illegal to read it. I don't have one with me, right? But Yeah. I do believe it's a good idea to study the Bible, from different perspectives. I mean, if you're a Christian, obviously you should want to know what's in it because your beliefs are based upon it. But even if you're not a Christian, it's a fascinating book when it's taken in a way where you're trying to understand what human beings were thinking in the ancient Near East 2000 or so years ago. So it's kind of fascinating in that way. I don't know how in a modern society, specifically America where I live, I don't know how people base their life on it. Oh, I get it. It's illegal to burn your Bible. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I hope it's not. I don't think it should be illegal to burn any book. I know it would cause a lot of controversy. These religious people get really, really uptight about this stuff, but I don't think it's illegal. Don't see why it would be. I do know that there's been some churches over the last few years that I recall were burning books, not the Bible, of course, but they were burning other books, books that they deemed to be of the devil. And even a church that I went to years ago, they did some burning of books in like a ritual type of way. People were throwing in their pornography and that sort of stuff. Right. Kind of a ritualistic sort of thing to do, I guess. Isn't it funny how people will be into burning books that they don't approve of, but if it's a book they hold dear to, oh, better not burn that one. And in America, I guess it would be kind of along the lines of flag burning, right? Something that is symbolic. Uh, I don't think flag burning is illegal either. Shouldn't be, but yeah, I don't think it should be. Thomas, I'm also an ex-Christian. Couple of questions. What positive elements can we steal from religion, do you think? Well, the first one that comes to mind for me, right, is treat others as you would like to be treated. Some get that from the Bible. I know that the Bible isn't the only place where someone can get that, but I think it's very positive. Love in general. All right. I know in my Christianity that I followed, love was valued, right? And there was a lot of positive things in Christianity that I was involved with. So it wasn't all negative. Right? The negative part of it for me, looking back on it, was the psychological manipulation. That's what the negative part was. But there was a lot of good things. Of course, community and the way people in in the Christian world or religious world they help each other. I think that's very positive. Moral relativity. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I definitely have subjective morality, if that's what you mean. I believe that we create our own personal morality. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but the whole morality thing, when it comes from a religious perspective, is all off in my way of thinking. The whole thing is off. It's like morality coming from, an authority who dictates to you what is moral and what's immoral. That whole thing for me is ass backwards. I think that we as humans should be able to think through morality using reason, our brains, our senses, and I think we can do a good enough job with that. Yeah, I think there's right and wrong for sure, but I don't think it's objective. You know, I do think there's right and wrong. I have my own ideas of what's right and wrong. And I think everyone does have their own ideas of what's right and wrong. But that's not absolute in every case for every human being. So, yeah. But I have no problem saying there's right and wrong. I do have a problem telling people that whatever I think is right and wrong has to be universally accepted by every person. I would feel arrogant to do such a thing. But yeah, definitely believe in right and wrong myself. I don't think a deity is even needed. I think it complicates everything, to be honest with you. So that's how I feel about that. Adding God to the morality picture distorts it, in my opinion. Morality should be fairly simple in the way I view it. Yeah, Thomas, we're on the same page with that. I think empathy is foundational. The thing is, not everyone has empathy. There are psychopaths or people that are mentally ill that may not have empathy. You go through life and you meet people that are cold as ice, you know? So I don't even know that they have that empathy. I think it's kind of sad that they don't. But I think that if you're building a morality, yeah, you have to use empathy as part of the whole picture. I'm gonna use a Bible verse because it just came to my mind. And in some ways, I would say there's some elements of truth to it. Although, of course, I don't believe it in the sense that Christians believe it. But the Bible says love covers a multitude of sins, right? So I could see that as being empathetic. And it's interesting, and I have no problem with a verse like that. Could even be a positive, like we were talking about before. It's a positive thing because in the Bible, I don't think everything is negative. I think there's some positive things that can be learned from it. It's just not all true. And that's what makes me an atheist. I don't believe most of it, you know. But it's interesting because I find there to be this fundamental difference that you're pointing out, Thomas, and that's the fundamental difference of morality being dictated to us, which is more of a religious idea, and they would call it objective morality, which is not very good to me, but that's the way they look at it. Morality is dictated to you, whereas I go with a totally different approach, that morality is built, and empathy would be one of the foundational things you would want to build it upon. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with love, right? Now, the interpretation of what exactly love is can get complicated. But in general, yeah, I'm all for love. Hey, Casey Beck, how you doing? Hold on. I'm putting the link in again in this chat in case someone wants to actually talk, one-on-one. I prefer it, but of course I can read the comments as well. So how do I rationalize the apparent fine-tuning of the universe? I try not to rationalize it. I don't see any reason to rationalize it. I look at reality. Okay. I don't like to start justifying and rationalizing things to form my own opinion. My opinion is that the universe is what it is. Okay. I don't really think it's fine-tuned. That word is like a buzzword, right? What does it mean to be fine-tuned? I don't think a person designed it, if that's what you mean. I just don't think that is the way it is. I think when we look at things, whether it be a building, an automobile, a motorcycle, a tree, a forest, an ocean, we can kind of determine, unless we're a little off, we can determine what is designed and what is just natural. I don't look at an ocean and think it's designed. I think it's there. It's a natural occurrence. Hey, Gio, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hope all is well with you. But yeah, Casey, do you think the universe is fine-tuned? I don't. But, Love it, Thomas. Now there is an all-American beauty queen. Am I right? Hey, apostate sisters. How you doing? Love to see you. I was saw you live the other day, but I didn't have time to jump on myself. You were doing a call-in, a talk-in show. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it's amazing how these presuppositions are built in the question, Gio. Let's see, Casey, thanks. Appreciate it. There are numerous constants that govern the physical laws of the universe. Fine structure, constant, etc. I don't understand what you're getting at, Casey. Maybe you can explain it better, live. I don't know. All right, constants. I mean, yeah, I don't understand your way of thinking, really. Casey, so what? I just don't get it. I understand you want to believe it's designed, all right, but I don't get it. I don't get what the point is, all right? Yes, we observe things and we see things, and we, as human beings, come up with things that make logical sense. Now, how in the world, or laws of physics and different things, but how in the world does that mean that there's a person who made the universe? The jump from there being things we observe and have concluded about the world, and jump to, well, there's a person who did this and made it, is a huge jump. So yeah, apostate sisters. I know I think that's awesome. I don't know how it works, but it was great to see you on there. I thought it was great. You folks inspire me for real. Love what you're doing. Casey, I love the way you're presenting this. Let's say, essentially, if the force of gravity was even a micron larger or smaller, the universe would not have been able to harbor life. I'd call myself an atheist, but I think it gives food for thought. Well, yeah. Casey, I think about these things. I just don't conclude that there's a person that made the universe. I mean, there's many interesting things, right? And I don't understand it all. I don't have to. All right. I can certainly distinguish between a tree and a building. A tree, I intuitively know, is a natural thing. And I intuitively know that a building was designed by human beings. So I don't get like what the problem is. I know it's given as an argument, this fine tuning thing, but I don't find it to be very compelling. Casey, I want to ask you, since you are an atheist, um, because there is life, is that, I'm in awe of life. I think life is amazing, but does it really go any further? What's the point? It's like, I've heard, it's like, I've heard people talk about it like that, in circles where there's, religious people, and they're like, Well, have you ever looked at the trees? Have you looked at the ocean, the magnificent sunset? Well, yeah, I have. and I think they're awesome. But it doesn't mean a person made them. I mean, you could be impressed at nature, you know, without believing that a person made it. And that's the big jump where I don't get it. That's the part where Stone, the argument doesn't mean much. It's like, explain it then. Casey, if there's a question, let's try to find the answer. And that's what science is doing. Science for hundreds of years has been asking these questions and trying to figure out how things come to be, right? Does nothing for me to just throw a God in there. Means nothing. Just saying, if gravity was slightly different, life could not exist anywhere without demonstrating this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gio, I have no problem with saying I don't know things. All right. I don't know how all that came into being. All right. And when I learn something, it amazes me. But what is the explanatory power of saying, well, something in the sky or a person did this? What does that do? Because that's what keeps me up. Like, why would you even give an argument like that? Like, well, I don't know how this happened. Must have been a god. I don't know. The whole argumentation doesn't do it for me. That's what I think, Gio. I mean, it does nothing to explain what is going on. If I'm going to say must have been a god did it, I could easily just say must have been a dog did it. Must have been a cat did it. I mean, it's absolutely meaningless. Must have been a god did it. And I must say, I get that argument all the time in the form of like the cosmological argument, you know. Well, there had to be something that caused this. I hear the argument. I just don't think it does much. It's like, okay, well, can you tell me what it is? Well, no, I could just speculate. Big deal. Oh my gosh, Casey, you must be a real brilliant person. And that's good. I like that. I may not be as smart as you, but certainly we'll invite you in if you want to come in and talk, because I don't have notes. I don't have a degree in these things, but I think I have some common sense. So, But if you want to teach me about how, this means so much, about how, or, knowledge that you have that I don't have, I'm all ears. I would like to learn. Gio, it's a funny thing because Popeye pretty much said something that Jesus said. And it always stuck with me because when I was little, I used to love Popeye the Sailor. Always eating his spinach, right? It was a fun cartoon. But didn't Popeye the Sailor say, well, I am what I am? And isn't that what Jesus supposedly said? Tell them I am sent you. I am what I am. Come from Jesus and Popeye the Sailor Man. Thomas, something like that, right? Something like that. And I have an expression I use all the time that is a little bit similar because I say it all the time. It is what it is. Kind of like I am what I am. I'm not going to argue with it, The universe appears fine-tuned for life. Okay. Shia, do you reject all concepts of God since atheism is usually defined as a lack of belief in any deities? Yeah, I don't believe in any gods. Well, Casey, I will say we observe it as it is, right? So it is what it is. Trying to put numbers on it, like what is the chances of this happening, is kind of like saying, what's the chances of the sperm fertilizing the egg? It's probably not the greatest chance, but it happens. It is what it is. The existence of some form of intellect that fine-tune the constants in a way to create intelligent life. Okay, Casey, just so I can understand, do you think when an egg is fertilized by sperm in human reproduction, do you think there's somebody doing that? I don't. I think that the people are doing something, but the fertilization of the egg is a natural process, and that's how I see the universe. It's a natural universe. Hey, super good dude. Nice to see you. Welcome in. Gio, Thanks for putting that into into actually a law of logic. I guess I was being more profound than I thought. To me, it's just like common sense, though, right? Right? Yeah. When I say it is what it is, I kind of mean it just is. There's nothing I could do about it. Nothing anyone could do about it. It just is what it is. And nature is what it is to me, you know. Shia, what if you came across a definition of God that you couldn't reject, like pantheism? Wouldn't that, by definition, dismantle atheism? Well, not really, Shia, not really. You see, my atheism is based on belief. So I can conceive in my mind, I can conceptualize some ideas of some sort of a God. That doesn't mean I'm not an atheist. I'm an atheist because I don't believe it's real. Okay. And there really is a big difference, right? There's a very big difference because obviously I was a Christian. So I believed and can conceive of a God, the Christian God. I was mentally able to conceptualize that. But that didn't mean that the Christian God was real. So that to me is the gap. And that gap is huge. It's huge. Hey, Slightly, welcome in. Appreciate you coming by. What kind of atheist am I? It's an atheist who doesn't believe in supernatural gods. That's it. I have different ideas about different things. I, you know, probably not the same way of thinking as all atheists or different atheists, but my type of atheism is simple. I don't believe in any supernatural gods. That's my kind of atheism. And Geo, I couldn't agree with you more. That's where so many people I talk to get bogged down in that, especially when they're trying to defend a particular god, right? They get bogged down with, the simple, all right? Atheism, or my lack of belief in a god, certainly doesn't imply that I know all things. I don't know why like people get stuck on that. It fascinates me what goes on in the minds of human beings. And because I don't believe in a God doesn't mean I have it all figured out. Okay. Right. And I don't think anybody does, but somehow I do think there's this human desire to think that I or you have it all figured out. And it's like I lost that when I left religion. It's like when I was religious, I thought I had it all figured out. I don't. So I don't understand like what, it's like a theist will say, well, do you know how all things came into being? No, neither do you. What do you believe in? there's certain historical atheistic movements that certain atheists get their views from. I don't know, slightly. Maybe be more specific, and I can definitely understand or answer directly. Um, I don't know. I personally don't study atheist movements. Um, I'm sure I have a lot in common with a lot of people through history, but I'm not sure, you know, did you get that hat from the atheist starter kit? No, I got it from my dad who passed away. That's where the hat comes from. Hey, Jude, am I a Marxist? No. Am I a materialist humanist? Uh, I guess I would say I'm a humanist in the sense that I value humanity and want the best for humanity, if that's the definition you're using for humanist. Materialist? I don't know. I mean, I guess I would be a naturalist, materialist, same sort of thing, if that's what you're getting at. And I would say I tend to be, but I'm certainly not dogmatic on it. So I would say I'm a naturalist unless something else comes along. But for the most part, natural explanations certainly are the best. Right? They explain things, not just leave it off into, you know, speculation. Why do you value what you value? Oh my gosh. Here we go. The epistemic claims. Being atheist towards superstitious gods is one thing, claiming disbelief in all of that. Shia. Okay. I'm having an open dialogue. Okay. I'm not attempting to prove, um, you know, some definitive thing about how all things came into being. Okay. It's not what I'm doing. I can't do it. I don't even have the knowledge to even approach such a subject. Okay. So I don't know, what that's all about. A consistent empiricist atheist should reject the existence of rights, being that they are totally fictional and non-empirical. I should read some theory. It's good to believe in something. Jude, I do believe in some things. Yes, I believe in some things. God is not one of them. Oh my God. What is the purpose of life? I don't know. What is super God, dude? What is your purpose of life? I think I create my own purpose for life each and every day. What is your purpose of life? Because mine is my own, and I create it daily, in the moment, in the now. I create my purpose. Right now, my purpose is to communicate with all you dear folks. That's my purpose right now. Hey, Gary, how you doing? Nice to see you. appreciate you coming by. Rights are fictional, like laws are. Yeah, human made. Yeah, made up. But also, yes, super important. Yeah, I'm all for rights, human rights. Gonna again put the link in here. There you go. That's the link. Hey, James, how you doing? I love the conversation, by the way, going on in the chat. You guys are awesome. I see there's some smart theists in here and some very intelligent atheist types. Man, I love this. You guys are very smart, for real. All right, I want to say that these discussions get very heady and very intelligent, and I love that. But there's just a base type of atheism, I guess, that I tend to be that type of atheist. I like to think in terms of common sense more than anything else because I'm a simple man. You see, I only have a high school education. I'm not a doctor or a PhD of this or philosophy or, that's not my thing. I'm a simple guy and I simply know that there are no gods in my life. So for me, it's kind of common sense more than anything else. But I mean, I'm capable of talking about these intellectual things. I just don't know that it ever gets anywhere because the bottom line for me and many atheists is there is no God in our lives. He's not here. Okay? He's undetectable. He's invisible. If he's real. I mean, how could something undetectable be real? That's as simple as I can make it. I mean, there is no God here. Okay? And if somebody can prove there is a God here, I'm all ears. I want to know. But all I get is philosophical blah, 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 blah. Okay? So that's probably the main reason I'm an atheist. I simply believed in God for so many years until many years later, after studying these different areas, I concluded that the God I believed in was just in my mind. He was not real. Okay? So that's why I'm an atheist. Yeah. James, I want everyone to know, and you bring up a good point. I don't have a problem with any gods. It's a good thought because I think a lot of people I speak with coming from Christianity and they're devout in their faith, they're always trying to figure out this God, right? I I don't even try to figure them out. I did when I was a Christian, and it's confusing as all get up. It's very confusing. You know, he's three, he's one, he's this, he's magical, he's not magical. All right. It's like the bottom line is I don't even consider or see any reason to give any God any place in my life. He has no place in my life. Hey, Wolf Den, how you doing? Good to see you. This torture stick jewelry. That is funny. I notice now a lot of jewelry now. I wear chains, but they have nothing on them, just plain chains. Right? Yeah, it's kind of funny when you walk around with this man hanging on a cross. Look at me. It is kind of weird. God is a term. Yeah, it's a word. We use it to label different things. Yeah, I guess people have different gods. I mean, it's somewhat limited, but God can be anything to anybody. So that I understand. That's not really being honest, but yeah, you could say God is anything, and people do. God is this God, that God, the other God, and then God is just energy flying around, and it's mysterious, and yeah, you can make God anything. That's why I like to say, God can be my old dog. That can be God. It's possible, just as possible as the Christian God. Yeah. Slightly. It's not shifting the burden of proof. I'm not proving God. Yeah, it can't. Nobody can prove God. My original claim was that you can't make claims without supporting them. Atheism is a lack of belief in God, is a claim. Yes, slightly. It is a claim in that sense. And the support is it's what I think. That's it. It's not complicated, man. All right. I don't have to run around supporting every thought that I have. All right. I don't believe in gods. I don't know how it can be any more clearer than that. And anything else is just trying to complicate it. It's like attempting to complicate something. I don't believe in gods. How would I support that? Just by telling you is the support. That's the support. I do not believe in gods. That's it. I just proved it. I just told you and I proved it. That's it. I can't say I reject God and say atheists don't have to explain the universe. Then you're, whoo. Who is it that can explain the entire universe? Because I don't know anyone that can. Right? I don't even know how that plays a role in this actual conversation. Somebody can explain the entire universe? Yeah. Yeah, apostate sisters, you know that's where I'm at. There really is no good evidence. There is philosophical arguments. That's about it. There is no good evidence. And the philosophical arguments, by the way, that you hear, they don't prove the Christian God. The best these philosophical arguments do is prove in a unknown God, a mysterious thing out there, or what they would call a first cause. Okay? But that's not Christianity. That's not Islam. That's not Hinduism. It's just a philosophical argument that doesn't persuade very well and is not that convincing anyway. But even if you bought it all, you say, I totally buy the cosmological argument. If you totally buy it, it still doesn't get to the Christian God. Not even close. Okay, Catholic, I will give you some time. You can debate me. Okay, I'm going to put the link here. I understand I don't have notes. I don't use computers. I don't have an argument scripted out. I talk. Okay. So here's the link if you want to talk to me. That's the link I posted up there. You know, I do think the conversation going on in chat is very interesting because, hey, Slightly, thank you. And thank you for contributing to the live stream. I really appreciate it sincerely. No, I don't do Discord. I don't do much in a way of that sort of thing. I just do YouTube. So I try to open up this platform and my channel to discuss these things openly, but I don't have Discord now. Tried it once. I did set it up, but it was too confusing for me. I didn't get anything out of it. I didn't know how to use it. By the way, I really should use Discord. It's just I don't have time to learn it because I think it would help if I did Discord, but I don't know how to do it. Here is the link again. Posting that link for the Catholic traditionalist, only because you said you wanted to debate. I would certainly like to talk about anything. Right? I have nothing to run from. Okay. Without God, nothing could exist because that's just moving the goalpost the smallest amount possible. Yeah. You know, it brings up an important point, James. I have nothing to run from, because if I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit it. I don't have to be right. Right? I don't have pressure to feel that I am right. Okay. Right? Because if I make a mistake, then I make a mistake. So what? All right. I'm willing to admit it if I'm wrong. Right. And I've been wrong, and I would say it right here. If someone comes in and they show me that I'm wrong, I'm simply going to say, I'm wrong. Big deal. All right. So no, I don't have to run from anybody. Right. Let's see. The wolf wants to come in. Wolf, I'm going to let you in, and we could talk a little while, but let's not go crazy. Hey, Wolf, how you doing?
What do you mean, let's not go crazy? All I know is crazy.
Well, you know what happens. You know this. It goes on and on and on and on. Nothing is ever accomplished, and you know.
Oh, well, I mean, the gospel is being spread. That's what's accomplished. So in my end, there's always something to be accomplished. But yeah, no, man. I got a little bit of time here, so figured I'd just go ahead and hang out for a little bit.
So what's on your mind?
I don't know. I'm just kind of joining in. Joining in blind.
I brought you in on the stage, figuring you had something to specifically talk about. The real action is going on in the comments, really. You know, but
well, you know, I always like to start off the conversation like how, not like how like the Indians, but like, how you doing, man? How's everything going?
Okay, I don't have any complaints. Life is good.
How's the tooth thing? Is it still missing? Hold on, let me maximize the screen real quick. Still gone, huh?
Well, I have a tooth.
You got a flipper.
See it right here.
Yeah, you got a little flipper.
It's my tooth.
Let me see.
I just not using it because I don't like it.
It makes it's difficult to talk with it.
Yeah, and I just don't like the way it feels. It just I'm not that into my looks that I'm overly concerned that I look funny. I really don't care. But,
I had a similar situation, and it's just like, yeah, whenever I was streaming, I couldn't do it, and the tooth like I flipped it out of my mouth a couple of times.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I feel so much more comfortable without it. So,
yeah.
Hey, Gio, thanks for coming by. Always appreciate you joining in.
I need to get this one. I think I need to go back to the dentist and have them kind of take off a little bit on the side here, because I think there's a little bit too much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, this tooth costs $1,300.
It's ridiculous.
Right? And I'm glad I got it, and I'm not complaining about it.
But you're complaining about it.
Barely use it. That's it. I mean, yeah. I would use it if I had like a wedding to go to or something, and I wanted to dress up, and you know,
where you need to like take some pictures, anything like where you need to take some photos and stuff like that.
Something like that. But I mean, other than that, I don't really care that people see that I have no tooth.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I was kind of the same way. You know, if you're missing like a front tooth or like any kind of tooth like that, you'd be surprised at how much you can make somebody's day just by like somebody's having a real crappy day. And then you just give them a big old smile and be like, hey, it could always be worse. Right. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get a bone graft though? Did you get a bone graft put in?
Yeah, that was included in the $1,300.
They're gonna do like, so you're gonna eventually maybe get an implant?
This was designed to get that. But
Right,
honestly, like right now, I'm like, I don't even think I'm gonna go for it. I'll just hang up.
It's pretty costly, man. It's pretty costly.
Yes.
But you want to get that bone graft stuff in. Otherwise, since you're not using it, it'll make your teeth set it like it'll make your muscle kind of like set in, so you'll kind of your face will kind of get like deformed. That's why like with people with older like with dentures and stuff like that, that's why like their jawline really gets shrunken down and things like that, because they don't get the bone graft in. And so yeah,
I did get the bone work.
That's good.
I was
That's
already
good.
done. Right. So
I
was supposed to continue on and get the whole thing, the real finished product. But I know already I'm not doing it because I'm comfortable the way it is. And it doesn't mean enough to me. I mean, I could still eat. I could still, do what I got to do. So
Christianity
I'm a person, really.
Christianity also ended slavery, atheists. So now there is that.
Come on, you can't get away with that.
It
Christianity didn't end slavery.
Well, I mean, the principles of Christianity do go against atheism. If you want to go back into the Old Testament, that's fine. But even then, in the Old Testament, once you start really digging in there and going through like how you should treat your neighbors or less how you should treat your slaves, it says that you should treat them fairly.
Well, certainly, I know that you are smart enough to know that the Bible was used by slave owners to justify them owning slaves.
Oh, the Bible's used for man to do all kinds of evil.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying that the idea that Christianity came along and got rid of slavery is just not an accurate depiction of reality.
Well, I'm sorry. Wait, say that one more time.
The idea that Christianity came along and got rid of slavery.
It did.
It's not an accurate depiction of reality.
Well,
that's not the story. That's not history. That's something maybe, that sounds like something that some Christian philosopher might say. But
the principles of Christianity, in a whole, go against slavery. Especially if you even go by the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. You shouldn't steal another person's freedom. You shouldn't covet another person's freedom. But I mean, does slavery still exist today? Absolutely. Slavery has been around since the dawn of man.
Yes, and it was around during most of Christian history.
I mean,
Christians owned slaves. So the idea that this fairy tale that, well, the Christianity came along and the slavery was abolished is just a ridiculous way of seeing it.
Slavery was abolished.
Yes, and it was abolished in America. A war was fought, primarily over it as well. All right. And Christian slave owners were definitely Christians. I mean, you can make believe, but the fact is that the Bible itself does not prohibit slavery. It never does.
Well,
stealing is another thing. That's not slavery.
But
That's not slavery.
You can encompass slavery in "thou shalt not steal," because if you steal somebody's freedom, you're still stealing their freedom. So,
you can twist scripture any way you want.
Not really twisting. It is. It's just. It is what it is. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. If you take somebody's freedom, if you steal somebody's freedom, you're stealing.
when the Bible talks about stealing, when the Bible talks about kidnapping, that is not talking about slavery.
How do you know?
Because it's there's words and they have meaning,
Right.
right? And slavery is not stealing. Slavery is not kidnapping.
Slavery. If you take somebody against their will and put them as their slave, do you not steal their freedom?
Yes, but slavery is an institution. It's not just kidnapping. In fact, most slavery had nothing to do with kidnapping. Most of it had nothing to do with that. Slaves were purchased. They weren't kidnapped. Now, you today I could go kidnap a person and enslave them in my basement, but
Right.
that's not the institution of slavery.
You
Right.
stole if you stolen their freedom.
Well, I could steal from somebody and not own them as a slave. Right? I could even kidnap someone and torture them in my basement, and that's still not slavery.
Yeah.
Slavery has a specific meaning, Wolf.
I don't know. What do you mean? There's people that say they're slaving over a 9 to 5.
Yes, they say that. I get it, but it's a figure of speech. It's not accurate.
When you're incarcerated, you become a slave to the state.
I would say if anything
your rights are removed.
I would say if anything was closest to slavery, it would be incarceration.
For sure.
But that's also like not being accurate, because slavery in the Bible and in the South, pre-Civil War, had nothing to do with that. It had to do with owning another person as a piece of property. That's not the same as criminals being incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
and jobs. All right, having a job that sucks, that's not slavery.
Yeah, I mean, depends on who you ask. If you ask Dolly Parton, she may beg to differ. Doesn't she have that song 9 to 5?
Well, here's the thing.
What is that? What is that song? What is that song? Let me see.
9 to 5. That's the song.
Is it called? Does she use the word slavery in it?
No, it's just called 9 to 5. That's it.
Let me see. 9 to 5 song by Dolly Parton. Let me see if I can find the lyrics.
Oh, it might use the word in there. Maybe. I don't remember it being in there.
Me neither. Let me see. But I mean, that's just a very common phrase. As you're slaving, in a 9 to 5.
Absolutely. Like, I could be slaving over a hot stove.
There you go.
But we're not suggesting that is what was going on in the Bible or the South prior to the Civil War. That's not what was going on. They weren't slaving over a hot stove, Wolf.
They might have been.
Slavery, I will say this, Wolf. Slavery is a losing argument, right? Because, I mean, I had studied this years ago. There is no way around it. The Bible does support the owning of another person.
I mean,
you can make believe all different things and say, well, it's like having a job. No, it's not like having a job. You can make believe it is, but it's not the same thing. All right. Slavery, the owning of another person and passing that person down as property and being able to beat that person. All right. And put them on a leash if you want. All right. This is not the same thing as having a job.
Depends on your boss, man. I've had some pretty wicked bosses. Yeah. I would think at the end of the day, slavery was a big movement into ending Christianity, or not ending Christianity. I'm sorry. Christianity was a big movement into ending slavery because it just doesn't align with the concept of owning another person and owning their freedom.
It does. It actually does align, and it was used by slave owners. The Bible was used to support slavery
We've already agreed. We've already
because
agreed.
because the Bible can be used any different way. I mean, I understand that. I mean, I'm not saying all people who read the Bible support slavery, all right, but the Bible itself does nothing to abolish slavery at all. None.
Well, Jesus's two main commandments, which would be love love God with all your mind, heart, and soul, and love your neighbor, and those two are very closely bound by each other. Slavery doesn't fit in those two. So, I mean, if you want to go back to Exodus, the Bible is a historical book as well. And the fact is that slavery is a part of history. But,
No,
the Bible,
it is a part of history.
the Bible is a
I
part of
don't know
history.
anyone who denies that.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
We're talking about the Bible and what it says. That's what we're talking about. I mean, Christian people own slaves. This is not something new.
People that were not Christians owned slaves. There were Egyptians owned slaves. There's people in the Middle East that still own slaves. You could say the incarceration system, the prison system, is a form of slavery, which it is. But we go, as a Christian, we go through the teaching of Christ and Jesus Christ, and nowhere does it say Jesus does not condone the owner of slavery, the owning of slaves. He just doesn't.
No, Jesus. Now, I talk off the top of my head. I don't have a Bible with me. I don't have notes, and I don't kind of look up Bible.
You got a Bible somewhere.
I have one, and my girlfriend has one way across the house.
Smart woman.
But I don't have one here, and I don't use a computer to, find things. But Jesus definitely had some quotes that were pro-slavery, and just the whole biblical concept is slavery. You as a Christian are supposed to be a bond servant.
Servant, yes. Willing servant, yes.
Bond servant.
Yeah. Happy to be one.
Christ. That's happy to be one. You, but I don't want to be a bond servant.
Okay. Well, the Bible doesn't force you to be one. The Bible actually gives you an option to not be one and reject that.
Oh, well, Christians oftentimes do not give options. All right. Christians throughout history are ruled by sword. Right? They didn't know.
I think you got that confused with Islam.
No, they both have done that.
Let me guess, you're talking about the Crusades?
Well, yes, Inquisitions, Crusades, even today.
Catholic stuff.
Catholics are Christians.
Yeah, it's up for debate. I think there's some saved there's some saved Catholics out there, but some of the esoteric Catholics, I don't know. If you know what you're doing goes against Christ and you're still making those practices, I don't know if you're an actual Christian or not. But
well, the idea of knowing who the true Christians are and who they're not, that in and of itself is kind of ridiculous. All right. For me to look at this particular person and say, well, they're a true Christian and this person isn't, we're judging what people think. We're judging what they supposedly have internalized. All right. And it's not a judgment even a Christian should be making, because biblically, you're not supposed to judge who is going to heaven and who is not.
I don't.
So I'm saying, it doesn't, the arguments don't amount to much. They just, the arguments that the apologists have, okay, they're good for people trying to maintain their faith. That's what it's good for. Okay. They're not good for persuading someone who doesn't believe in the first place. They're totally ineffective. All right. The only reason these apologists are out there is to try to keep people like you in the faith. All right. Because they give you some intellectual undergirding. All right. That makes you feel good. But the weird thing is that as intellectual as these arguments appear, all it takes is someone like me with a high school education to tear them apart. So they're not that intellectual. They're
So,
not.
as an atheist, what's wrong with slavery?
All right. Well, let me explain this. Okay. And I
Mhm.
really want to explain this because maybe you can get to start to understand where someone like me is coming from.
I like to keep our conversations on a very basic level. I don't
Well,
need to
that's
get
pretty
I don't
basic.
well I'm talking to DT. He wants a very intellectual conversation. I like very, basic conversations where anybody can get the grasp of what we're trying to conversate. Because if we try and get too intellectual, then it can go way over people's head, and there's no message that the message gets lost in translation because we're trying to be too intellectual. So I like to talk to people as normal people, like we would be hanging out on the street, and talk to.
That's how I talk to everyone, like I would if I was talking to you, in front of my house. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If I
I
met
don't.
you at the
I
park
treat
and we
everyone
talk.
the same. I mean, it's not. I'm going to treat everyone the same. All right, and
Mhm.
I'm not claiming some big authority, in this subject, but I'm going to explain what maybe will help you to understand something about the way I think. All
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
When
Knock yourself out.
your question was, say it again. It was
In
how
in atheism, what's wrong with slavery?
okay. Listen and try to understand this.
Ears wide open, eyes wide open. Let's
Okay.
go.
With atheism, it doesn't comment on whether slavery is good or bad.
Exactly. So
So understand that. So when my atheism, being an atheist, I could be for slavery, I could be against slavery. All right. It doesn't Atheism is not offering anybody a view of morality that's perfect. It
right,
doesn't offer such a thing.
which
So
Christianity does.
yes, it does, but it's wrong.
But
That's
atheism,
wrong.
so we're acknowledging that Christianity does offer a standard of morality, while atheism lacks that. Atheism lacks a standard for morality.
Yeah, I and my way of understanding it and the way I think, my atheism is simply a lack of belief in God. That does not establish my morality. Okay, so my morality is established totally differently
What's
than
your
than, than if I'm atheist or not.
what's your morality established on?
My morality is very simple. Okay, and it is simply what helps human beings and myself is good, and what harms human beings or myself is bad. That's it. It's
Why?
so
Why
simple.
though? Why though? Why care about if a human gets harmed? What does it matter at the end? Like why? Just because society has told you that, because
No,
that's been your construct.
society hasn't told me that.
That's
I,
yes, society's
I
told you
no,
that.
no.
If you were on an island with 10 women, 3 men, you know, and what would happen there? Would it be wrong to kill the people? Would it be wrong to enslave the people? Or would you try and get along? What about defending yourself?
But let me explain this. Okay, try to make it clear. I establish my own personal morality. It is not
Mm,
established by somebody else. It's established by me. And I have another aspect of morality, which is just societal. So there is a societal morality
So you
that's
have a
established by the laws in the country I live in. All right, there's legal things having this is illegal to do this, it's illegal to do that. That's the society establishing a morality. But my personal morality is not established by society. It is my personal morality.
Hadden Acker's got it. So basically, it's just your preferences. It's whatever you feel like. It's whatever you feel like is morally good and morally bad.
No, it's more than just feeling, because I don't go by just feeling. I said I establish my own morality, and I do so by using my mental faculties to consider what may be good for people and what may be bad for people. That's it. Now, is it perfect? Probably not. All right.
It's not. I'll give you the answer. It's not.
So what?
I'm just stating that.
Yeah, but I that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's mine. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Right?
And yours can vary differently from every other person. You do not have a standard. Your standard is completely fluid.
I just gave you my standard.
Yeah, it's based off your emotion, by your feelings. It's based off what you witness in society, what you think is good for other people. No. So therefore, you follow what is good for other people. But really, you're just going along with the sheep. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that if I was an atheist.
Let me tell you something, Wolf. Wrong guy. I don't go along with. I don't follow any man. So I'm the wrong guy to talk about that with. All right. I don't.
Do you follow the laws?
Most of the time.
Then you're following man.
No, not really, because I believe that the laws are there for a reason, and probably I shouldn't be disobeying the law in almost all cases, but not all cases. There's times when I would disobey the law. Oh. So it's not like I go and I say, thou shalt not smoke marijuana in the state of this at this time, and I go, oh, well, that settles it for me. I don't do that. I still make up my own mind. So I don't follow, I generally follow the laws of the land because it's in my interest, and almost all the time in the interest of society as a whole, but not all the time. There are times I would disagree with the law.
Sure. Yeah, I would see that. Like in what way? Is there anything?
I gave you one example.
The smoking weed.
I love smoking weed, and I could go from state to state, and the laws.
You love your herbal supplements for the sake of your strain. You like your herbal supplementation.
Well, if I go to a particular state, the laws say something different than if I go to another state. Now, I'm not much of a legalist. I think it's perfectly acceptable for me to smoke marijuana. So I won't go along with or agree with the law that tells me I can't. So I'm not going by just the law of the land. Get it?
But you are. You're literally going by the law of the land. Like if a state says that you can be fined or imprisoned if you're caught with a marijuana, then you are going to take the chance.
And I might take that chance.
And you might, but chances are you might not, because there's consequences.
Remember one conversation we had where you pled the fifth?
Oh yeah. I highly recommend you exercise that usually in our conversations.
Okay, so right now I'm pleading the fifth.
Okay, well, hey, then I'm no longer able to legally ask you that. I got a quick question on my chat because I'm live also. He says I got to run. I wanted to ask you, what did you make that intro music with? Suno. It's called Suno. Suno. If you just Google Suno.com, you just put or just Google Suno, and you could just put in like a 1 second prompt of like what you're trying to do and tell what type of music, like what genre of music that you want it to do, and it'll comprise an entire, song for you. So Suno, if you want to make good custom AI created music where you don't have to worry about like copyright and stuff like that.
Hey, Wolf, I want to ask you one last question, and then I'm going to let you go because I want to open up the chat to other people.
How many people can you have on your panel? Is it just two?
Well, I can have a bunch, but I'm not capable of talking to a bunch because
I usually just be quiet. Yeah,
because it's probably too much of the weed because I get confused easily if I'm
you might not want to do that weed, man. Fog your memory up.
Now, I want to ask you this because you asked me what is my moral foundation, and I told you what mine is. I said, for me, what I use to determine my morality, my foundation, is what harms people and what helps people. Okay. Now, you may not like that foundation, but I'm not asking you if you like it or not. What is your foundation? How do you determine what is right and wrong?
Well, my foundations were set in stone, man. They were written in stone. They were given to me by a creator, the creator of the universe, the creator of everything, that are set in stone. And overall, his standards are far greater than everybody else's. Are far greater than humans.
Okay, so your standard comes from God, right?
My standard definitely comes from God. Yes, amen.
Okay, does it come from the Bible or is it God speaking?
Well, the Bible explains to you how, they came about.
Well, I mean, I want to bring it down to real reality. All right. If you're facing a decision, right, do you go open the book and you go, let me see what it says here? Or do you pray and go, God, send a spirit down to inform me? And both happen. People do it different ways.
Oh, I was going to say sometimes it's both.
Both does happen.
Depending on how severe the situation is. I could give you one example.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So one day I was really craving like a burrito bowl from like Chipotle. All right, like I was like dead set. Like I was dead set on like getting a burrito bowl. I didn't want to eat nothing else. Like that's what I want. I was craving that, and it's like that's it. So I was like, let's go get a burrito bowl. And the people that I was going with, they were like, there's gonna be a tornado that's coming through. Maybe we should pass on the burrito bowl. I'm like, I've been through like a couple different tornadoes over here. There's like tornado watches, tornado warnings all the time, and it's like generally nothing happens. So like, whatever, screw that. Let's go get a burrito bowl.
Usually nothing happens. Correct.
So then it's like they're like, damn it. Okay, all right, fine. Let's go get this burrito bowl. So like at the light, I had to make a light go into the freeway, turn, and then all of a sudden it just got pitch black dark, and all you could see is just like the leaves start spinning around like crazy, and it was like right on us. And I'm like, probably nothing. Let's still go get this burrito bowl. And so I went into Chipotle, and then I went in there, and then that's when it really freaking hit. Like all the power went out, everything like that. And the wind was so strong, it was pushing me back. Like I couldn't even walk forward. It was pushing me back. but I was dedicated to get that burrito bowl, man. So I like walked into Chipotle, try to get it, and I didn't get a chance to place my order, but the power went out and the wind was so strong. Somebody tried to open the door and it kicked it so bad that it smashed the door and the window. And honestly, Chipotle is like a final destination area because it's just all sheet metal and glass. Like you don't want to be in a Chipotle when the tornado is around. But there I was, and so the lights went out. They went ahead and made a burrito bowl, and the lights were out, all the power's out, no cash register, and the person was like, "Hey, bro, do you want this one yours?" And it's like I could have easily lied and said, "Yeah, dude, that's mine. That's mine. Let me get it, bro. Like, let me take that." But something in the back of my head, in my mind, all written on my heart, was just like, that ain't my burrito bowl. That's not mine. And beyond me, like, I'm not gonna say like God couldn't forgive me if I did take it, but for some reason I didn't. My conviction said, don't do it. Don't take that burrito bowl. It's not yours.
Yeah, but you didn't have to go open a Bible to see that, right?
Well, no, but I mean, through my study of the Bible, and that I know that the commandments are written on our hearts, that we're born with this. We don't necessarily need the Bible, the 10 commandments that are written on stone. That's already written on our heart, but it is cemented in stone that, no, I don't need that burrito bowl. Even though I could have got it, there would have been no consequence for doing that. But for some reason, I just didn't get it. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, why didn't I just take it? Why didn't I just take it? What would have been the problem? And the only conclusion that really came to my mind was just in my heart, it's not right to steal. It's not right to steal. And I would be stealing from someone. I don't know if they ever got it or not, but I don't know.
No.
I
appreciate that, but I'm going to let you go because I want to open to other people, but certainly you can understand that you don't have to believe in the Bible or a God to turn, and pay for the burrito bowl, right?
I don't think I could have paid for it if I wanted to.
No, what I'm saying is you could have made the same decision whether or not you believe in a God or not.
Well, yeah, but the Bible explains that these commandments are written on our heart. It's already on our heart. God has set it in stone, but the commandments are on our heart. If you need me to bring up the scripture, I can bring it up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the Bible. It's just there are many, many people who do not agree or even follow the Bible that would make the same decision you did. That's my only point.
I can't speak for anyone else,
No, I'm not speaking for anyone either. I'm just saying that certainly you can think that there are other people that may not even believe in the Bible that would do the same thing you did. It's not that a God, is necessary. That's the thing with the morality thing. I mean, if you and I sat down and we went issue by issue, well, what's the right thing to do in this situation? And what's the right thing to do in that situation? I bet you there's not all that much of a difference. All right. A lot of it is going to be the same. And yet I don't believe in any gods at all. And you do. You see, because you don't have to believe in any gods to do something good. And you don't have to, believe in any gods to do something wrong. Christians do wrong things. Atheists do wrong things.
Amen. Yeah, sure do.
Atheists do good things. There's just simply no correlation with doing something good or bad, depending on what religion you are or what book you read. All right. And my foundation covers that. My
No,
foundation.
your foundation absolutely does not cover that. The Bible covers it. The Bible says why people do good and why people do bad.
No, no. What I'm saying is my foundation for morality, which is what helps people versus what harms people. I feel very simply stealing from other people or a business, in the case of Chipotle, all right? There's a people behind that business.
Not
So I
sponsored.
think,
Not sponsored, by the way.
well, I think it harms people. So I don't need a Bible to tell me that.
You're
Now,
right, but
I think
The Bible explains why you feel that way.
no, it doesn't, because I
Yeah,
don't believe in it.
I have it pulled up right here. Let me share it with you, and then I'll
The
leave.
Bible cannot tell me what I believe or what I don't believe. This
Oh, but
is
it
this is
does.
where this is where you lose your individuality. You lose yourself in the religion, man.
I'm not
You
lost
lose
in it.
yourself in it.
I'm not less.
Like,
I'm not lost anywhere.
well, when you say, well, the Bible is going to tell me why I think something, all right, it's preposterous. I mean,
The Bible
the Bible
explains
is
it.
not going to tell you why I think something.
I got it pulled up right here. We could present it, and then I could dip out, so you could allow somebody else on your stream or on your show.
Go ahead. What is it?
So this is Romans 2:12. You got to allow it on your screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll read it with you.
Did I get rid of? Hold on 1 second. Okay, never mind. No, I didn't get rid of it. Where you at here? Okay. All right. So this is Romans 2, starting at 12. For as many as have sinned without law will also perish without law, and as many as have sinned in the law will be judged by the law. This is in quotations right here, so this is maybe added. For not the hearers of the law are just in the sight of God, but the doers of the law will be justified. For when Gentiles who do not have the law by nature do the things by nature, the Gentiles, when the Gentiles, not the Jews, but the Gentiles, that would kind of mean me and you before we accept Christ, and before you accept Christ, eventually you will. For when the Gentiles who do not have the law by nature do the things in the law, these things, although not having the law, are a law to themselves, who show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and between themselves their thoughts accusing or else excusing them, in the day when God will judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ, according to my gospel. And if you don't know, who wrote that would be Paul.
How does those passages tell you how and why I think my thoughts?
I'll read this again. For when Gentiles who do not have the law, so let's say you do not have the 10 commandments, you do not have the law of the Jews, but by nature, something natural, you do the things in the law. Why do you do the things in the law? These things, although not having the law, are laws to themselves, who show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and between themselves their thoughts accusing or excusing them, in the day when God will judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ, according to my gospel.
Okay, and I may not have ever read that, and I still have my own thoughts about right and wrong.
That's exactly what this is explaining to you.
But my thoughts about right and wrong are not going to be the same as another person's. So the nature thing, there's things built into our
our conscience, our thought process,
yes, our conscience, our minds. All right, there are things that are built in, but they could be different from me to another person. So that
Right.
doesn't explain anything. It just is something you're holding on to. All
Read,
right.
read into it a little bit more. Take some time, meditate on it, read it, and maybe it'll come to you. It's as clear as day for me. I don't know why it's so difficult for you to understand it, but
Well,
maybe
I mean,
maybe you just want to fight it. That's very common.
could it be maybe you just want to believe something?
Whether I believe it or not, it still rings true.
I, I mean, I wouldn't argue about that verse. It's just it doesn't do anything for me because I don't believe it. Right?
Exactly.
I still, right now, after reading that, am still going to have my own foundation and my own morality. Now, you could attribute everything good I do, right? You could say, well, everything good that Brooklyn Lou does is because of God. I mean, you could do that, but that doesn't amount to anything. I
I would
could say
say
everything you do that's good is because of another God, because that other God put it in your heart. All right.
okay. Well,
This is
find out which one is the true God. The Bible tells you who the true God is. Puts all the other gods, embarrasses all the other gods, and his word, and he will outlast everything. So
well,
the word will
kind
outlast
of
everything. Start at
like
15.
when I read a book and there's a hero, kind of the hero is usually the hero of that story. It's like you're reading a story and you're like, well, this is the hero, so therefore it makes everything true. All right, because I believe it, and I actually have made a vow of loyalty to defend this belief. All right,
Mhm.
and that becomes your identity. And what it's
Oh,
robbing you of is actually becoming an autonomous person who thinks for themselves and doesn't have to look at the book. All right. I told you my foundation, and I don't have to look at the book to tell me that.
right.
All
You
right.
don't have to, but whenever you do, it helps you understand why you even feel that way.
It doesn't.
It should. It should.
But
I
it
say
doesn't.
start on Romans 2:15. Start on Romans 2:15. Who show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and between themselves their thoughts, accusing or else what? Accusing or excusing. It means your thoughts can accuse or your thoughts can even excuse.
Now, you think that
I know that.
is profound and it means so much to you, right? All right. That means nothing to me. Okay.
Well,
So,
obviously.
so I mean, I know that you probably now, because I know I was a Christian, you probably think, well, isn't I'm fortunate that the Holy Spirit revealed something to me that other people can't get from it. But isn't that at its root kind of arrogant? The Holy Spirit told you something special through those verses. And I read the same verses. It didn't mean much to me. All right.
Well, no, it's not arrogance because I'm not trying to keep this as a secret, nor am I trying to make you feel less of a person. I'm just trying to show you where the Bible explains your nature, your consciousness, why you feel the way that you do. The Bible explains it. Now, whether or not you want to accept it or not, that's totally up to you.
It's whether I believe it or not. It's like, I mean, it's like anything. The Christian amazes me. It's like everything comes down to I know something.
It's
God
not I,
doesn't know anything.
Chris.
I know it because a God told me,
No,
because a spirit came and told me. All right. This is, I mean, I hate to tell you, but I will. That's
Go ahead.
crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
I don't know it. I understand it, and I understand it to be true. That
Okay,
doesn't
but I
change
don't understand it, right?
well, then I'll pray for you and pray that
But
the
you know
Holy.
more, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Well,
know
God
what I
gave
know
you a
and what you know.
special. You read it, and God illuminated it.
Oh well, whenever you read the book, whenever you read the word through the Holy Spirit, yeah, things make more sense than it would to somebody who doesn't believe. If you're just reading it, if you're reading the Bible with just a pure materialistic, humanistic, scientific standpoint, then you will possibly never understand what the Bible is saying. But whenever you start reading it through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, things start making far more sense. Far more sense.
Okay, read the Bible cover to cover.
Keep reading it.
Why?
Because it's gonna be the most influential book on the planet for you, man. It's gonna help you.
It's
It
not.
is the word is gonna be there. Otherwise, all you have is what man says, and you can go and you can go by with what man says, regardless or not.
You are literally going by what man says.
The author of the Bible is Christ. The author of the Bible is God. Yeah, man was inspired. Man was used to write it down.
Okay,
but it's inspired by God.
We know, even Christians know who wrote the Bible. They don't know who wrote different books.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I was going to say you might want to be careful that you might contradict yourself there.
But we all know that it was men. We all know that.
Now, men. What men? You're missing a very crucial part. Man inspired by who?
That's a belief you have.
It's man inspired by God.
That's a belief that you have.
If it wasn't, then the Bible would be one page long, not even a page, and it'd say, the Holy Bible, open up, do as thou wilt, the end.
Let me tell you something. When I was a Christian, I would sit and read this book like it was, the greatest thing that's ever been given. Okay.
It is the greatest thing that's ever been given.
I can tell you that I think it's meaningless at this point in my life. And honestly, I mean, I don't even know what I was thinking other than I wanted to believe something. I vowed my life to something, and this kept me believing something. I built my life upon something, and it kept me in that. And I have all kinds of problems if I were to question it, because there's cognitive dissonance that sets in and all that. But right now, I don't care if I ever see another Bible.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I know you want you want that sense of escapism. You want to feel. You want to feel. You want to feel. You want to escape. You want to escape judgment. You want to escape death. Or you may say, "Hey, I'm fine with death. I get it. We're gonna die. I'm fine with that."
Okay, you are one of a group of people under a specific religion who believes something. All right. You're in the minority. You're not in the majority. Not that that matters, because you can be in the minority and still be right. I get it.
Correct.
But you're in the minority. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and 2 billion could possibly be considered Christian. So 6 billion people don't give a darn what the book says.
Well, I don't.
I don't care what the book says.
I don't control what those other billion people do. All I can do is have my interaction with you and myself and Christ. That's it. So for some reason our paths have crossed. Don't know why.
I'm sure you think that one day I'm going to become a Christian. All right.
Oh, well, I almost guarantee it. If you
Which
were
I
a Christian
already have
once,
been.
if you're already a Christian once, and you're probably going to become a Christian
Well,
again once
I've
you get over all
already
this.
was for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you are going to find your way out of that belief system and find freedom in being your own person. And maybe one day you will have an atheist show.
I am my own person as we speak. I am my own person.
You don't have morality of your own.
I could choose whether or not I choose to break morality.
Okay, if God told you to wipe out infants, would you do it?
I would test the spirit. I would test the spirit and see if that this is really God.
If you knew without a shadow of doubt in your mind, if you determined, yes, this is God telling me this, would you destroy infants?
If it was truly God, the God of Christianity, the God of the Bible, Christ, and he told me that, then I would obey. I would obey it. I may have a problem with it. I may not understand why.
But you do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were drafted to the military, if you were drafted in the military and your commander says, "Hey man, wipe out all of these people. Wipe out all of these people." Would you do it? Would you not do it?
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I have that capability to reject that too.
Well, I'm saying you, that's the difference between your morality and my morality. My morality, which I set for myself, would tell me that no, I should not kill the infants and I should let the nursing mothers live. And I would have that morality, whereas your morality would be a God told me to destroy the infants, and I believe it's real, so I will destroy the infants, thus demonstrating that you do not have morality of your own.
Thankfully, God hasn't given me that question yet.
I made my own decision. You did not.
I could choose to I could choose to disobey it, but I mean, you do support the murder of infants. There's more infant murder, abortions. Baby. You don't support abortion?
No, I don't support the murder of infants. All right, and abortion has nothing to do with atheism, by the way.
It has a lot to do with atheism.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Of course, it has to do with atheism. Does it have anything to do with Christianity?
No, really, it doesn't. Because
in your worldview, it does. The Bible tells me not to murder.
The Bible does not speak about abortion.
Oh, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder.
Not talking about abortion.
What else is it talking about, brother? You're killing another human being.
The Bible has nothing to say about abortion.
Weren't you the one that specifically told me, like, oh, I think it was, I forgot in what book it was, maybe it was Samuel, where they went to somewhere and then they said, oh, we got to do this whole ritual to see, and if this baby was committed out of adultery, then the baby would be a stillborn, or it would be a miscarriage.
I don't think I told you that, but I'm familiar with the story.
I think you did challenge me on that, and we went over and we kind of like explained how the Bible's not endorsing it; it's telling a story of how they determined whether or not the baby was going to be
What I said is what I'm going to stay with. I don't recall saying this story proves anything. I don't even believe the story, but the Bible as a whole does not speak to the issue of abortion.
I challenge that simply, and I think I simply defeat you with "Thou shalt not murder." Easy, all day, easy.
Murder.
Swish.
No, murder is the unlawful killing of another human being.
Yeah,
Abortion is legal in many areas of the world. So if you're there, then it's not murder. That's just a misuse of the word.
murder to me.
Well, again, it all comes down to what you believe. That's it. All right. And you could believe it, but I think, if anything, talking to someone like me, you might understand that we all don't believe what you do.
So abortion is not murder according to Lou.
No, you say it's murder. All right. I said that the Bible does not speak to the issue of abortion.
Is abortion murder?
No, not if you're doing it.
Okay,
if you're doing that practice, if you're a woman doing that in a legal place that you are allowed to do it, it cannot possibly be murder because it does not fit the definition of murder. All right. Now, if you're in a state or an area or a country that says this is murder when you do this, then you could stick it in there. All right. But still, it may not be murder in your personal morality. Remember how I broke morality down to personal morality and societal morality. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible does not speak to abortion. All right. It does not. And it is obvious that the God of the Bible did endorse the killing of babies in the womb. That is absolutely in the text.
Where does he endorse it?
Okay. You want to go to the Bible?
I love to go to the Bible, yeah.
Right. I said I don't have a Bible with me.
Well, I mean, you're on a computer, aren't you? You have a Bible at your fingertips.
I don't do that. I don't look stuff up. I go with what I remember. Okay.
Well,
1 Samuel, there's the story of the Amalekites.
Okay. Book of 1 Samuel.
Yeah.
Book 1 Samuel, Amalekites, where the Amalekites. Let's see if I can find it. Now go and attack the Amalekites. I'm pretty sure that's where you're going to want to go with this, huh?
Well, I mean, it's in the Bible, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm not afraid to go through it. I don't make excuses for the Bible.
You accept what it says, right? Or you're going to dance?
Yeah, no, I don't. I completely accept what it says. I'm not a Muslim. If it says Aisha was 9 years old whenever they consummated that marriage, then and Islamists should say, hey, yeah, hey, he slept with a 9-year-old. Don't dance around it. Try and change the age, whatever, like they always try and do.
So maybe we can get somewhere here if you actually read the text.
I got it pulled up.
1 Samuel.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see if I got
15, I think.
Let me see if I have it pulled up on the right one. Hold on, let me see.
1 Samuel 15. Go there. Pull it up.
To stream
what version of the Bible are you using, by the way?
Whatever version you would like. Is there any version you would personally like? By default, it goes to NIV.
I mean,
you want me to do King James?
There's different versions, but that's fine. I mean,
yeah, of course. There's NASB, King James, New King James. You get the Mormon Bible.
Go to the New King James. That used to be my favorite.
Okay, no problem. New King James.
That was the Bible that I personally used.
Got it right here for you.
Okay. Read. You're right there. Verse 3.
Yep. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
Okay. 2 things. Nursing child, and then all women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to make the jump, so I can't say absolutely definitively, but when you wipe out all women, there's going to be a percentage of them, even if small, even if small, that are carrying a fetus. That's just what is natural. All right. Now, the text clearly says nursing children, nursing infants, nursing babies. I mean, there's no way around that. I mean, you can't wiggle out of that. Right? So here, the God is saying that you, if you were there following this God, he is telling you to go into a home.
Take no prisoners.
You're going into a home because, and these weren't dropping bombs. I actually did a video on this. They weren't dropping bombs from airplanes.
Oh no,
they're
door to door with a sword.
Yes, you got it. So they went into, or they were told by God to go into the houses, see the nursing mother with the nursing infant, and to wipe them out, to kill them with an instrument held in your hand like a sword, to cut them in pieces. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what your morality can accept. And you said it as much before. You said, well, if God told me to do that, then yeah, I would do it. And I said to you that you have no morality of your own. You would literally kill nursing babies if the God told you, because you don't have morality of your own. I made it clear I would not do that unequivocally. No, maybe I would not do that because I have morality of my own, and a God is not giving me my morality. See, that's the difference between your morality, which is dictated to you, and my morality, which is developed on my own.
Okay. So do you know why? Do you know why? God commanded the Israelites to go and kill the Amalekites, wipe them out.
Yes, because earlier in the book of Exodus, earlier than that, the Amalekites had a very bad issue with Israel, the Israelites. Okay, and they stopped them and were at war with them. So God remembered that, even though it's much later, because it wasn't even the same generation. Also, something you should note, wasn't the same generation. It was generations later, but he gave that order. So that's why.
Okay.
Because they were bad people.
They were bad people. So it could be seen in the same way as like in Nazi Germany. Hey, going around killing the people, the women, children, whatever, you go and kill them. Hey, it's war. It's war. There's a different set of standards whenever we go into war. God commanded these people to do these things. That's the command. That's the commander giving you an order.
Yeah,
and
you don't have morality. When you're in war and you're a loyal soldier, okay, you do not set your own morality.
You can.
The general says, go do this, and you do it. You're trained not to have your own morality. Okay? And that's what you are trained. You're trained not to have your own morality. You're trained to obey. That's the Christian morality. It's to obey.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have that morality.
Okay.
Okay. I determine for my own self what is right and what is wrong. I gave you the foundation, and nowhere is that listening to an authority telling me what is moral or not.
Yeah, I mean, you're listening to your own morality.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a totally different, fundamentally different way to understand morality. We just totally don't see it the same way.
Yeah, you get your morality based off your standards. I get mine based off what I have observed God to be an all-encompassing, all-knowing, all righteous person. And if it comes down to his orders over my orders, if I want to disobey it, I could try. We'll see what happens. There's many people that try to disobey God.
Let me say this. You would agree there's a fundamental difference? Yes.
I would agree that we have a fundamental difference on where our morality is based on. Yours is based on your own.
Mine, let's clarify this so at least we can understand each other. My morality is based on my own thoughts and my own reasoning. Okay. And your morality is based on what a God tells you.
Yeah. My morality is based on what God has set the standard for man. Yes.
What he says, if God says, like in the passage you're reading, if he says,
Old Testament. Yeah. Old Testament.
Kill the camel, go kill the infant, go kill the nursing infant, you think that is moral. Why? The only reason that I could think that you would think that is moral, and if I'm wrong, tell me where I'm wrong, but the only reason would be because the God said so.
Because because the Creator, who knows far better than I do,
yes,
has said so. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's the fundamental difference. I create my own morality. You do not. So I could say I have my own morality. Yeah. You can't say such a thing because you do not have your own morality. You would even destroy nursing infants because God said to do it.
Well,
you said that twice in this conversation.
Well, if we're going to go by biblical and where we're at in time in the New Testament, that's not commanded. But
you do think God? I mean, maybe you're not the type of Christian that thinks God speaks to you. All right, most Christians I talk to, they say they heard from God. All right, so if God told them something, all right, that would be their morality. My morality has nothing to do with God. Nothing. All right. My morality is coming from my mind. That's the difference.
And your
own morality. It is given to you.
Yeah. By an all-knowing God, right. Yeah. So thankfully, I wasn't born in this generation where I was ordered to do that. I might struggle with that.
I don't even know why you would ever consider doing such a thing, because the only reason you would ever, in my opinion, all right, and this is just my opinion, I'm not proving it, all right, because there are things we don't prove, we're just talking.
Sure.
Right? In my opinion, you're better than that. I would like to think you would not do that, all right, but I don't know. When you talk about I get my morality from the God he says it's okay, therefore it's okay, then your religion can turn you into a monster.
Could, if you don't understand the religion, if you don't understand Christianity. Because now we're under grace, and we have the commandment. We have the 2 love commandments, man, where it's just love your neighbor and love God with all your mind, heart, and soul, and love your neighbor. No. Those are how you get to heaven, whatever heaven looks like for you. It could look different for other people. So that's a whole other story. So that's what my God commands me to do at this point in time, where I'm at right now, where me and Brooklyn Lou are at. Well, I'm in Central Time. It's almost 9, 5 minutes till 9. For me, in the year 2025, 8/13/2025, my command from God is to love God with all my mind, heart, and soul, and love my neighbors.
Okay. And I'm going to let you go, but I don't care what the God thinks, because I don't believe the God is real.
Hey, God gave you free will to think whatever you like, man.
And I'm using it.
Amen.
So,
you are.
I hope he's not mad that I'm using it. Why the heck did he give it to me if he doesn't want me to use it?
Hey, we're under the covenant of grace, man. So you can go and search out those answers whenever you feel like you need to, or never search them out at all.
I'm comfortable with my own mind, and I'm comfortable with my own thinking ability. I don't need to go to a God.
Okay. Because you are your own God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that way, I don't believe I'm your God. I'm not your God. I don't believe I'm anybody.
Oh, I know you. I know you're not my God.
All right, I'm nobody's God, but I do think for myself. And if being a God means you're making your own determinations, then yes, I am my own God in that way. I'm not supernatural. I'm not all powerful. But yes, I am controlling my own life.
Your destiny. You have control of your destiny. The red pill or the blue pill.
I don't have control of my destiny.
Sure you do.
No, I have control of my everyday life.
Until you hit is that not your destiny?
I don't know what my destiny is because it hasn't happened yet.
I guess you would say your destiny has an ultimate conclusion, which all humans, depending on what kind of Christian you are, even I struggle with that conclusion. If you think that we're in the end times or not, there could be time, you could say that, oh, maybe none of us will see death. Maybe we don't fully understand what that actually really means. But, at the end of the day, our destinies, as we know it, is going to lead to one inevitable conclusion, which is death.
I do believe in death. You know that.
I don't think you have to be an atheist to believe in death.
No.
And I don't think a Christian, would be like, oh, hey, well, Christians can be kind of strange sometimes, but and I could be one of them strange Christians too. So I do have a hope for an everlasting life, and I hope that you come back to that, because at the end of the day, it gives you hope. And at the end of the day, with atheism, it's done when it's done. That's it.
I don't have the hope you have. I don't share that hope.
Understood.
Okay? I don't feel I need that hope. I'm not desperate for that hope, and I'm comfortable with reality.
That's cool. So am I.
All right. Appreciate you coming in. All right. Always welcome. I just want to invite some other people in to see if anyone else wants to chat.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'll dip out. You ain't kicking me out. I'm leaving.
Peace.
Later, man. I'm taking control of my destiny.
Go ahead. Well, that was fun. I like those conversations. Hopefully, somebody who watches this or listens may get something out of that. Whatever side you're coming from or whatever your view of reality is, I think there was something to be learned in that conversation. Right? Here is the link. I do want to invite anybody to come on in and chat. Theist, atheist, Muslim, Hindu, Jew, does not matter. And in my understanding and the way I personally think, it doesn't matter because it shouldn't matter. What should matter is how you behave and how you treat people. That's what should matter, not what you believe. Because it simply does not matter what a person believes. You could believe anything you want or anything that makes you feel good or makes sense to you or that makes your life better or worse. But I'm not going to judge you based on what you believe. Nope. I'm going to judge you based on your actions and based how you treat other human beings. Because for me, it's pretty simple. Very simple. Not complicated. Once you bring the God into it, it gets much, much more complicated. Well, what does the God mean? What does the God think about this? Does he want me to do that? Does he not want me to do that? None of that goes in my mind anymore. I'm free of that bondage. I don't care what a God thinks. I literally could not care any less. Sure, Marina Beach. That's why I'm doing this, because I want to have dialogue with people. So shoot. And if you really, I really appreciate if you come on, because then I can more like communicate in a more, I don't know, personal way, I guess. Hey, Takipa. Hey, Lone Atheist. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Like the video, all that stuff that has to do with the algorithm. I just appreciate you being here. But if you take a moment and comment after the video is done, because I leave these up there. All right. They don't really get much attention, but I leave them up there because I want to be real and transparent, and I don't want to run away from difficult conversations. Takipa Lara. We're talking about anything, because that's the way I run my lives. I don't limit it to any subject. It could be about Christianity. It could be about, like I said, it could be about sports. It could be about gambling. I like gambling, by the way. So it could be about anything. But yeah, Christianity is always on the table. Well, there's somebody. Luke. Let me let you in, Luke.
What's
Hey,
going
Luke.
on, brother? Hey, let me get. I'll get a better place with some better lighting here.
Yeah, you look. You know what? You look like a.
Yeah.
You know what? You look like a ghost.
I was just out in the garage, man. Hey, watched the whole. I watched the whole talk with you and Wolf, man. God, that's the question that you know that people got to ask themselves. Like, if God, if this God of this Bible was going to say, "Hey, you got to do this for me. You got to, you know." Well, we got to wipe these people off the map. It's just like, what are you talking about? Like, it is just so crazy. Wait, trying to plug these lights in. Holy hell. What is going on? Here we go. Oh, there we are. Hey, there we are. We're out on the patio. We're out on the back deck.
Yeah, it's still a little dark, but nice to see
Yeah,
you.
a little dark. Yeah, nice to see you too, man. Dude, I've been checking you out for quite a while, and man, I really like your just non you're just so direct. You just right off the cuff from your heart. You're just kind of saying it like it is. You got no notes in front of you. You're just going with the gut, just going with the
I got
heart.
to do that because I would be too confused about a bunch of notes.
For sure. So, you know, I'll tell you, there are all these great texts, right? We've got the Bible, which, if you think about the word, the Bible, I find it so ironic that if you literally translate the word, it literally means the book. And,
Yeah,
it makes me just laugh a little bit because this book has caused so much hurt, so much division, so much pain, suffering. And of course, it's not the only book that's available to people. And Christians will say that this book is a living word. But
Yeah.
the conversation that most Christians don't want to have about the book is that if it is a living word, that means it has happened, it is happening, and it will happen again. Now, let me explain. I think the Bible contains a lot of truth, but I think it also contains a lot of things you got to sift and like get through and dig down deep in order to really get to the crux of it. These great gods, these great people, these men of renown, these heroines, these great women from the past, did they exist? Yeah, maybe. But if it's a living word, how does that apply to us in real time? And I think people can really garner a lot of truth and a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding in finding out exactly what character they are in the book. Now, that's a very Gnostic, very kind of esoteric, very occult way of kind of looking at the book, which is a way that I look at the book, right? I see these stories as archetypes, as examples. Um, you know, people that I can relate to in a way and kind of understand what it is they were trying to convey and what they were trying to express. And that's how I view it because I'm getting to the point, Lou, and I am, I'm pretty well known as a composer, and I've written a lot of like sacred music, religious music, and I've garnered a lot of inspiration from these texts. But the more I read, the more I really get into the depths of these kind of theological, esoteric, occultist, discussions, you know, I say to myself, like, what if this is all like a trick? Because, like I said, what book has caused the most division, the most hate inducing murder and rape and just of innocence and the oh well we're the chosen people, no we are, when in fact we all are. Like, doesn't matter if you believe in God or not, everyone is going to be okay, everyone is eternal, and everyone is on this kind of journey of levels through this. Th- there are many levels, right? Like, death is just an experience. It's just a transfer of energy, right? That's what this place is. It's just vibration and frequency. How is one vibrating? It's just crazy. I'm sure it's crazy to me as it is to you that there are people that literally believe that when God says we need to wipe these people off the face of the map, well, give me a sword and a shield and I'll be right there. It's just so crazy. And it's
Yeah.
everyone everyone is an expression of the all, and we are all one, right? We are all expressions of one. And if, as a Gnostic Christian per se, St. Augustine that knew that we lived in the mind of God. And if you look at the first Hermetic principle is mentalism, that all is mind, the universe is mental, that we literally create our tomorrow inside of here. This is where tomorrow is created. This is where the now is created. St. Augustine knew this. And if you think about the oceans that are saltwater, and when we cry saltwater, and you got to say to yourself, I wonder what that means. God, is God this entity above? Well, if you look at the Gnostic understanding of like gods and goddesses, the reason why these gods and goddesses do not need worship, do not need our adulation, is because they are our higher selves. Because when we're here, it's not about becoming someone or, you know, doing this or that. It's about remembering who we are. There's an old saying that says, I can't maybe it was Seneca. It was some old Greek scribe that said, there are some that come here that want to make a name for themselves and seek out fame and fortune. There are some here that come to simply ply their trade, and there are others here that are simply here to observe. And that, my friend, is a very, as you know, is a very, very deep, to be the observer, to be the all, just the omnipotent observer, right? Just to take it all in and alchemize all of that. And back to what I was saying, the reason why in Gnostic understanding is that these entities, these deities, these dominions, these powers, these principalities, these versions of our higher selves require no worship is because we're not only are we here, but in their estimation, we're already there, right? And the second hermetic principle is as above, so below, as below, so above. We are our higher selves are observing ourselves here in real time. And if we tap into our authenticity, who we are truly, then that line is now, it's not severed anymore. It's completely connected. And we see that. I know I'm kind of going off in the deep end. I don't want to throw anybody in the deep end if they're not ready to swim in there yet, you know?
Well, let me just say a couple things.
Sure.
First, I love music. So whatever you're composing, I'm really like I love people who are into music. I don't play, I don't compose, I just appreciate the art, you know. And definitely you're a different type of Christian. When you say a Gnostic, that in and of itself, with most theology would be considered you're a heretic.
Oh, for
You know,
sure.
they
Yeah. I
wouldn't
mean, if I,
think you're
well, no, you're right. I mean, if I lived 400, 500 years ago, Lou, I'd be burned at the stake. Right.
right.
Yeah.
I'm
For
glad
sure.
you recognize that.
Yeah.
so, so I mean, I agree. I think that you would, you're a heretic. That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, you could be a heretic all day. I don't care. You know, I don't hold it against you, man. All right, but you have a form of spirituality, is what I'm seeing.
For
You
sure.
know, and I like your version of spirituality better than the fundamentalist. Like I can relate more to what you're saying than the fundamentalist Christian who is, let's read the book verse by verse. You know, that to me is more dangerous. It's more
Yeah. No.
more strange. All right.
Yeah. No,
But
I understand.
I definitely am not, like I think differently than you do.
Sure.
But I mean, I have no issues with people who have your view of spirituality, you know, even though it's not my own, you
No,
know.
no. And I completely respect where you're coming from. And to be honest, Lou, at this time in my life, having a 10-month-old daughter and, journaling to her every day and dropping these truths and mysteries to her and, hearing what you say and what other atheists say, I've got so much more respect for that position than I do these kind of very fundamentalist, very literalist positions that lead to genocide, Lou. You know this.
That's
You
the
know this.
and
Okay.
that's the type. I mean, I'm outspoken, but I'm outspoken really against a particular type of belief system,
For sure.
and it's that rigid authoritarian thing.
For
All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
It's not people who are using their faith to better themselves and trying to gain wisdom. I mean,
Yeah.
I totally have no issues with any of that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, I'm atheist, so I
Yeah.
don't really believe in these gods of any of them, but that doesn't mean I don't, that I'm going to disrespect people. No, I mean, I know many people who have a spirituality that is helping them navigate through life.
Yeah.
And that's cool to me.
Yeah, for sure.
No problem with that.
For
I would
sure.
never want to take that from somebody,
No way.
obviously. But I'm always speaking out against fundamentalist Christians.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think that their
Well,
way of seeing things can be dangerous to our society.
Well, think about
Right.
it. I mean, I mean, you know this. Like, if you take these things, especially from the Old Testament, like literally, God is a jealous God. God wipes out these people. That empowers people in their fundamentalism to be jealous, to
Yeah.
be genocidal maniacs, to be abusive.
Yeah.
I'm talking about abuse here.
I
They
totally see it that way.
because they see, oh, a woman's my property, so
Yeah.
you know I can treat her however I want to, and it is just so fucking evil and so just, oh my god, it is. And people are falling for this. They're falling for it.
Yes, and I think it's very dangerous, and that's kind of why I started a YouTube channel. That was the reason. It's
Yeah.
not to fight, Christians or
No.
to tell people what they need to believe.
No.
It's just I'm kind of trying to get people to think and to come to a point where they're creating their own way of thinking that's helpful to
Right.
themselves and to other human beings.
For sure. Yeah,
Right.
they're right. Yeah,
But
you're trying to empower people to live their own myth and write their own gospel. That's what you're doing.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I mean,
exactly
I
what you're
could
doing.
I could go there. I mean, that doesn't mean again, I have my own thoughts on, God and all that. All
For
right.
sure.
And but I don't think I'm the only person alive that I have to tell everyone they have to be, let's say, stone cold atheist, because it's like, I mean, people have their own minds. And more than anything, I'm trying to do this channel to try to make people think. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not, I'm not trying to tell people what to believe,
No.
right? I think that's the problem. Like, I see that as the problem when you tell people what they have to believe,
For sure. For
and
sure.
that's what I would call religion or I consider it fundamentalism.
Yeah.
You must believe what I believe.
Yeah.
That I think is very dangerous. And I think that people get under that umbrella and they kind of start becoming that type of person.
Yeah.
It's like they
Yeah.
become authoritarians,
Yeah. They do.
And that is dangerous to society, in my opinion.
Well, you know, words are powerful. Words are, people have no idea how powerful they actually are. You know, etymology. They don't call it spelling for nothing, Lou. When you speak, when a person speaks, they're literally casting spells, whether for good or for ill. Like, and people speak blessings and curses over not only other people, but their own selves every single day. When you say I am, you see, and that's the thing. Like, if you look at the gospels where Thomas is saying to Jesus, Master, where are you going? How can we know the way? And Jesus looks at Thomas and says, I am the way. He was giving people a cheat code, a download, a secret. When you step into your own I amness, Carl Jung talks about this. I'm not the only one. This isn't new. Everybody that's listening to the show, this isn't new.
Yeah.
Stepping into your I amness, who you are as a person, your authenticity, that is true power.
What you just said, I relate to.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
for
I don't
sure.
believe in God, but I relate to
No, and I and
that.
I get that. I get that. And go back to etymology, right? We go back to etymology and we go back to spelling. And I know you don't believe in God. God, you spell it backwards, it's dog. But let's take another word. Let's take the word live. If you speak the word live backwards, what is the word? It's
Life
evil.
or
Evil.
evil. Yeah,
Yeah.
final evil.
Take the word love. You speak the word love backwards. It's evil. Evil. You know, this has power. And even the word atheist, you know, I actually laugh at the word atheist, because if you really study etymology, atheist literally means a theist, which means you, as a sovereign person, are defining. You don't need some sort of higher authority to dictate what your moral absolutes are. You know intrinsically in your heart what is right, what is just, what is true, what is equitable, what is fair, and what is inherently evil and wrong.
See,
We,
I can relate to that, but I'm always skeptical. So I go to the exceptions. All right. Because I think there are exceptions to that.
sure.
All right. And the first one that comes to mind is the mentally ill, you know,
Mhm.
because I don't think they really can do that, you know, like the criminally insane. Think about it. It's like we will actually let people off in a way. I mean, we might put them in a mental facility, but you could be shown to be criminally insane and get off of a charge,
Mhm.
and I think that's interesting,
Mhm. Mhm.
because it's kind of saying that you don't have the ability to know right from wrong, or reality you know from imagination, right? Like, you're a creator, right? Because I do think about this a lot, right? You're a composer, so
Yeah.
you're a creative person.
Yes.
That's part of who you are. All right,
Correct.
that's part
Yes.
of your identity. It makes you you. Okay, but not everyone has that. You have that. All right, and I don't know. I mean, I look
Well,
at it as people are very, very variable, person to person. We all have strengths, weaknesses. All right, but what you're doing is healthy to me, because I think you can distinguish between what is creative, what is imaginary. Because, like, being imaginary is not bad. It's just I look at imaginary creativity, those sorts of things, as not being necessarily real, right? Now they have things that you could say you can relate to, right? A great song is something. Oh, I relate to that.
sure.
I mean, you may not even fully. You might have a totally different take on the song than the writer had, right?
That's true.
I mean, you might just hear it and hear, I relate to that. All right. The writer might have had something totally different in their mind when they wrote it. Right. That's why it's always cool to go to the writer and ask, well, what were you thinking, when
Well,
you
let me.
wrote that? Because we have the ability as humans to create in our minds things that can be beautiful, that can be very human. I mean, that's what makes us human. I love art. I love that stuff, right?
Let's
But I
talk
don't
about.
think art is real.
Well,
Okay.
let's talk about songs for a second, okay? So let's talk about it from, let's say, and what we can do is we can talk about these songs that we love, uh, whether we believe in these upper entities or we don't. This is something that you and I both, Lou, can relate to.
Right.
Whether it's God, whether it's gods or goddesses, or whether it's our higher self. You take any song, and I challenge anybody here in this chat to do this. Go back to the songs from your youth, the songs that you love. and actually read the lyrics, and and this is a Gnostic thing I'm going to say, and this is a deep mystery that I'm dropping on people, because this is heavy stuff. You will discover that either God, whatever your idea of God is, or your higher self has been speaking to you the entire time. For example, Journey, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. You see, everyone's writing their own story. Everyone is a part of their own play. Shakespeare was right. The world's a stage and everybody's fucking on it, right? And this is all being logged in the cloud. And at some time, 100,000 years ago, someone's going to say, I want to access the movie of Brooklyn Lou. And they're going to be able to pull that up, and they're going to be able to play that. And they're going to be able to, like, wow, this is awesome. Because those songs are literally speaking to you. And there's a reason why a certain song resonates with you. Whether it's your higher self or you see your higher self as like these gods or goddesses, it's there. And let me be patently clear, categorically clear to you, Brooklyn Lou. Art is not created in a vacuum. I am just a vessel, a conduit. There is nothing new under the sun, as Solomon stated. Solomon. And this is why etymology is very important. Solomon, sun and moon. Solomon is an acronym and is an etymological, statement for sun and moon. There's nothing new. Everything that I'm creating is just being distilled through my own lens, through my own voice, through my own heart, through my own understanding, through my own empirical heuristic interactions with this realm, right? And that's why art is so important, because we're just all just kind of channeling all this shit, right? That's what we're doing.
Well, I think you and I would disagree on what this is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, I view all of this artistic creativity, the ability to feel something emotional, to let a song hit us where we're like, wow, that meant so much to me. I think of all of that as being a product of our brains.
Mm.
So I'm more like a materialist in that way.
No, it's fine. Well, that
Right.
that that speaks to the first hermetic principle of mentalism, that the universe is mind, that all is mental. And then if you follow all the hermetic principles of Hermes Trismegistus, that's a hard word to say. Try to say that 5 times fast. It says the all is in all, and the all is in the all, and everyone is in the all, right? It's all that this whole concept of God is all in the mind, and that we are, in effect, you know, we are we are literally, and put this in quotes, to be respectful to you and your position, we are God simply experiencing this realm, right? And this is why, as a Gnostic, as a Christian, who, by the way, I am totally in love with all of the divine feminines, and I believe that the divine feminines have been literally criminally ripped from all of the texts and all of the crossing, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I often say, in the name of in the name of the Father, this is the nous, the
The
name of the
mother.
Mother, the name of the Mother, and the name of the Child, right? Because that's the symbol of the Trinity. But anyway, I digress. It's just um, that is who we are, and everyone's going to get exactly what they believe. Like the fundamentalists, they're going to get exactly what they believe. But here's the thing: everyone eventually will be okay. It's just, it may take these other souls, these other beings here that have this fundamentalist view, a few more times around the sun to get it, right? Because you are eternal, Lou. Everybody here on this call, you all are going to be okay. That's what I'm here to tell people. You've got nothing to fear. nothing to fear. Doesn't matter if you believe in God or don't believe in him, because if you live according to your authenticity, you know what's right. You know what hits. You know what hits in here, the heart. And if you rearrange the letters of the heart, what do you spell? Earth. And do you think that's a coincidence? Absolutely not.
You see, your type of Christianity, I don't, it's not, again, you know and agree it's heretical,
Of
right?
course.
So none of this is really, representative of the religion, we call it
No,
Christianity,
no.
right? But we disagree. But again, I think you're doing something good. Right? We disagree on just the basics of what it all is. You know what I mean? I experienced the same sort of stuff, right? So it's, I experience the same. They use this word, metaphysical,
Mm, mm,
So I experienced that,
mm.
right?
Yeah, for
But
sure.
but I don't attribute it to a god, a spirit, a force. I attribute it to my own little brain,
Mm.
you know. And
No, I understand.
for me, that's where it's all at. Like
Yeah,
that's it. It's all there. It's in our brains,
yeah.
That's why I often say I believe in God as a concept. That's
Yes,
what I'll
no, no, and so
say.
the Gnostics would completely align with you with that as a
All right. I
concept.
just don't
Yes,
believe God is a person, telling us what to do all day.
right,
I don't see that. You
right,
know,
right,
but
right.
a concept, yeah. I mean, I can conceptualize God,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
But
sure.
you know, I again, Luke, I don't have any issues with that.
Right.
Because the end result of that is you're living with love as a foundation. You're living with a greater good in mind,
Correct.
right? And all
Correct.
of that is the best that these beliefs can do, in my opinion,
Mhm.
right? The worst it can do is turn someone who's going to go kill another person.
Yeah.
That's the worst that religion can do,
Yeah.
right? But the belief that you have a higher power and you're somehow relating to a spiritual world for good, that's cool to me. Not my thing personally, Luke.
Understood.
Okay.
Well, so and thank you for the time that you're giving me. I really appreciate this. So, just to kind of just give you a really kind of concise, comprehensive understanding of where I'm coming from. So, I see this realm, this earth, as a place where all of the divine opposites are ripped apart, right? So if we look into the sky, we've got the sun and the moon, but obviously they're always chasing each other. And then the moon beats the sun, and then obviously the sun then beats the moon and vice versa. But everything down here in this world, on this earth, all those divine opposites, as the Gnostics would talk about, are all ripped apart. And the way we make sense of all of that is through alchemy and how we alchemize things. Because everything that we do, everything that we eat, the cigarettes we smoke, the whiskey we drink, that's all done through alchemy. It's got to be fermented, it's got to be aged, it's got to be, even when we make children, when a man and woman come together with the friction, that's alchemy. That's all alchemy. But yet, at the same time, I'm a man, but I still have estrogen. So I still have remnants of that feminine energy inside of me. And why is that? And that's what the Gnostics like really kind of contemplate and talk about, right? And that in and of itself, it it's all about it's not about getting back to like necessarily like this concept of God, but this concept of gnosis, which does not necessarily mean knowledge, but it does, but it means divine unity, where all these things are together, where we're all kind of unified. We're all unified. Everything is put back together. Everything is where it needs to be. That's that's the best way I can describe it. And furthermore, we talk about these entities of Jesus and Mary Magdalene and the Virgin Mary and even Lucifer. So I say to myself, I ask myself these questions. Why do I have a right eye and a left eye? Why do I have a right hand and a left hand? We often talk about the right hand path as the Christian path and the left hand path is the path of Lucifer. Well, the Gnostics seek to integrate both, right? Because all this place is a balancing act. All it is, these fundamentalists literally believe that this whole thing is about a naked man and a naked woman in a garden with a tree and an apple and a snake. And it's just so crazy to me because it's all allegorical. It's all figurative, right? It's all figurative. But if I have a left hand and I have a right hand, I utilize my left hand, I utilize my right hand as a pianist, right? As an organist, as a composer. I utilize my left eye and my right eye to see, right? I have a left ear and a right ear. I've got binaural. Our ears are just so perfectly made how we can hear the depths of hesyhertz and kilohertz and all sorts of different things. And it's this integration of both light and dark that I think most people are sadly are missing out. Whether you're atheist, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Vishnu, Brahma, whoever, Buddha, does not matter because all of these holy archetypes, these avatars, these religions, they all have truth in them. And it's all here for us. It's all here for us to sift through like Indiana Jones and the archaeologists and, find the corners and open it up and, look for the Ark of the Covenant, the proverbial Ark of the Covenant.
Well, we're gonna end this with an agreement, because I think where we disagree.
Yes,
All right, but the agreement is I I like the type of spirituality that you're representing. Okay, so there's an agreement there. The disagreement is I don't see why we even need to go into anything having to do with spirits or gods or entities. It's to me it's all brain, right? And it's
yeah,
wonderful and it's marvelous and all that. So I don't think you have to. I also agree. There's truth in all of these different religions. I also agree with you there.
yeah,
I don't think everything in religion is bad. Okay. I think a lot of it is taken the wrong way and becomes bad.
for sure,
All right. Very bad.
for
But I
sure.
don't think, like when I read the Bible, I don't think everything in the Bible is bad.
Hmm.
All right. So I think it's a mixture. When I read like a book like that,
Yeah,
I'm seeing a mixture,
yeah,
right? For me personally. All right. But having an atheist YouTube channel, I'm going to point out more than anything the negative, right? because I want people to think about
well, see,
that.
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like you are my, you're my yin to my yang. Like you've got to be the contrarian, and I've got to be the optimist. Like that. That's how this works out so beautifully. Like we've got a beautiful synergy here.
Yeah,
And I, and I
I am definitely I'm taking the skeptic role.
yeah,
And it is, I am truly skeptical. So it's not like I'm pretending, all right? But I don't think, everyone that reads the Bible is going off the deep end and, taking it in these terrible ways. All
correct.
right. And yes, there's a beauty in some of it. It's how you're reading it to me, and how
Yeah.
you're
Oh
how you're
yeah.
looking at it,
See
you
that
know.
that's very profound what you say. It's all in how you read it. And people are not equipped. They don't have the requisite tools. They don't first and foremost, They don't know who they are. So how can they even attempt to read something like the Bible, which is totally allegorical, figurative, historical, all of this stuff, and these people are taking it literal, and they don't even know who they are, and they're literally assigning literalism to it, and they're making a fucking disaster out of it, right?
Luke, what you said is where I'm also going to agree with you. I think that as humans, our journey should be to know
Oh,
ourselves.
for sure,
I
for
mean,
sure.
that's my journey personally.
Absolutely.
That's why when I talk to like the wolf, I'm trying to distinguish how we think. I want to know myself. I want to get to know both good and bad about myself, right?
That phrase is literally written above Thoth's temple in Egypt. Know thyself. Before you even enter the battlements of the pyramid, written above, it says, know thyself. Because
Yeah,
when you cross that threshold, when you go into this depth of wisdom and knowledge without the tools, without knowing who you are, man, you're going to drown. You're going to drown.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm really into self-discovery, that type of stuff.
for sure.
So I'm into all that. I just
Yeah.
don't spiritualize it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a way of seeing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm into self-discovery and I'm into examining. I think one of the best things a person can do, especially when they become more mature, age may play a role somewhere in here, but at a certain point in a long life, if you're lucky enough to live long, all right, I think it's a good idea to evaluate who you are,
For sure.
and I, for my personal journey into where I am today, I would say that was like a big thing. I feel I got to know myself much better,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I'm not looking at myself as perfect. You know, that's not what I'm doing, right? But I do think I got to know myself better, and through that, I've become a better person. Is how I feel my own journey is.
I'll do one better for you. So when you were born, Lou, when you came out of your mama and you were screaming and crying and you were reaching for her, and everybody else in this chat, even myself, we all were born perfect. This whole concept of original sin, this whole idea of putting this fear and this religious trauma onto children, it is the most evil, disgusting thing that institutionalized religion has done, because people have no idea how truly powerful they actually are. And when they know who they are, and they know that they literally cannot be destroyed, because as the laws state, matter cannot be created or destroyed. And you as a being, just as a human, have this concept of eternity, or even where does that thought come from? And in Gnosticism, we talk about the nous, right? The nous, that is where the Father resides. And then this is the logos, right? The speaking. And then the spirit, the mother, is the doing, like the action, right? Where does that come from? How did we get these concepts, right?
I think from our brains, but that's
Mm.
why I'm different than you.
Yeah,
But I still experience the same stuff,
sure,
you
sure.
know. And I don't let's say poo-poo the experience. I think it's important.
Yeah,
I don't think it's unimportant. I think it's very
no,
important.
no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's a
It's just
journey of a
how we
lifetime. It's a journey of a
define
lifetime. It's a
these
journey
things,
of a lifetime. It's a
Yeah,
journey
I
of a
think.
lifetime.
I mean, I'm on a journey.
Yeah,
If you want to look at it like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I just don't put any beings into the picture. You
Understood.
know.
And I respect that. But so before I go, let me say this to you, okay? Because this is This is my heart speaking. This is my authenticity saying this to you. Lou, I want you in my eternity. And I know you're going to be there. I know you're going to be there.
Well, I guess in your way of seeing it, I'm gonna be there. Right?
Absolutely, man.
So
All right.
thank you for
Listen.
the conversation.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much to everybody in the chat for allowing me my cognitive reverie.
Always welcome here.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
In my channel, I want to make clear we don't always have to agree
That's
on
right.
everything, but
That's
there
right.
is commonality that I think in humanity.
Yes.
And I think that's where we can see
Yes.
things the same.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. That is the thread. That is the silver lining behind all of these conversations, Lou, is that thread of humanity, of commonality, of relationship. That is true relationship. That I can sit here with you knowing that you don't give two shits whether these gods exist or not. And you know that I think of these guys as avatars and archetypes. And yeah, I think Zeus did really exist and Athena really existed and Persephone, and I believe all that stuff. And you and I can both have this wonderful conversation and come to a singularity of understanding of our humanity. That is a beautiful thing.
That element, if that's what's called spiritual, I'm more than happy to say I'm spiritual. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not going to reject that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm picking up what you're putting down for sure, man.
Anyway, thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you, man. All right. Have a great week.
All right.
All right.
Bye. So that was a great conversation. Wonderful conversation. Been a long time. Anyone else want to come in? I know I saw someone saying they wanted to talk. If you're still out there, come on in. Marina Beach, you want to come in? We could talk. Blaster Master 80. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I don't discard everything in the Bible. I kind of think if you discard everything in the Bible, it's kind of like being a biblical literalist on the other side. There has to be some balance in this. And yeah, I mean, there are things in the Bible I think are good. All right. I just think to in the year 2025 to live your life based on this book in a literal sense is a scary proposition. Yeah, I got a little time. I would like to talk to one other person if possible. You forgot what you asked, Marina Beach. Don't ask me to remember because I don't have the best memory. Thank you, Luke, for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Ashton Walker. Ashton, you there?
What's up, Brooklyn?
Hi.
How are you doing, brother?
All right. Don't see you, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. Let me go in the living room.
Oh, you still have a camera on?
Hello.
Cool. Yeah, I see you now.
What's going on, brother?
Doing these live chats, trying to get people to communicate and have some sort of open dialogue. That's what I'm trying to do with these things, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. I was just scrolling through and I was listening, and you said that you think that it is scary in the year 2025 to still live to biblical truths.
Uh, yeah, but when you say truths, that's where we're probably not going to agree.
Yeah,
But
understandable.
to live by the Bible, let's say, I would say, yeah, that's a wild thing to do. I mean, the Bible is not, I don't even see it as a book written to be taken in the year 2025. You know, there are things in the Bible that are simply outdated. So, I mean, that alone, I think if you're going to live outdated,
Hmm.
that's a dangerous thing to do.
Uh, do you have an example?
I mean, it could be as simple as let's take stoning people to death for adultery
Mm-hmm.
or homosexuality. All
Mm-hmm.
right. That's an outdated idea. It's no relevance in, the year 2025.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ancient thing. So
Yeah,
I would say it's outdated, is what I think.
no, it's understandable. I mean, I don't, me personally, I I am a Christian, but I don't really have a stance on judgment whenever it comes to what is to be put to death and what not, because like in my position I see that in the Old Testament, whenever it came to the Mosaic law, that just like you're saying, it was a different culture. And just as whenever Jesus came and established a new law with the people, establishing the Trinity, that I believe that stoning people for homosexuality, but at the exact same time though, if it was an Israel nation, like hypothetically it wasn't the messianic time yet, and there was a nation that there was Israeli law only, I'm not necessarily sure if they would stone people to death. And so, like, I am with you that there are aspects of the Bible, like, even whenever it comes to slavery, that it is hard for me to sit here and negotiate ethics with you because it's obviously not ethical in that sense. But
Yeah.
I have to submit myself to God's law because I believe that all things positive and negative are working towards a positive goal, something that is above my understanding.
And I think that's your belief.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
share the same belief you'd have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
but I think you can understand what I'm saying being outdated. I
Mm,
mean, we don't stone homosexuals. I don't think many people would want to do that or think that's a good thing to do.
mm,
Because even if you think it had some sort of purpose, it's certainly not in a modern world. It doesn't.
mhm.
I, so that's what I meant by outdated. And if you take it literally, it can be very dangerous. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I guess one question I'd have is that in our system today, we do use the death penalty, lethal injection, the electric chair. Would you say that those methods are outdated?
The death penalty is an issue that certainly is an issue that's philosophical and it can be debated both ways.
Mm.
So you could be for the death penalty or against the death penalty, and I don't think that's outdated right now. No,
So
right? And
what do
I
you
guess
think?
if it was some sort of death, like you were talking about, if it's a death penalty where we're gonna, torture the person and you know, cut them a million cuts until they die,
Mm,
then I would say, yeah, that's outdated. But the death penalty itself, you know, putting some people to death for something they did, primarily murdering another person, that's mostly what it's used for. I don't think that's outdated, no.
yeah, I mean, I would agree with you that it's not outdated because that's essentially what they were doing. It's just that in America, we draw our lines on what we think deserves the death penalty, and for them, they drew theirs.
Yeah, but the problem that I have with that is yes, but they were drawing. I mean, if you read the book, and I've read the book, they're drawing this from a God.
Mhm.
It's not like they're just making this stuff up. They believe that there's a God telling them certain things. All right. And that's
100%.
where I just simply, I don't believe that stuff.
Yeah. D- Do you not believe that it's ethical for God to do that, or you don't believe it's possible that there's a God in general?
Okay. I think anything is possible. Okay. So I wouldn't say I would go like I don't know if by saying anything is possible, I mean there could be something we never thought of and it might be true, you
Hmm.
know. So I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it none of it makes sense to me. So I guess that's why, I am what I am. I mean,
Well,
it doesn't make sense to me at all.
well, one thing that I thought about, because I'm totally with you, whenever it comes to the Trinity, like it's hard for me to grasp the Trinity, three separate persons sharing the same Godhood, the same God nature. That's hard for me.
Yeah.
But at the exact same time, like I feel like the creator of all things should be incomprehensible to me.
Well, I used to think the same way. So, I don't know if you heard a lot or know my background, but I was a
Mm-mm.
Christian for many years. So I thought the same way. I no longer think that way though.
What denomination were you?
I didn't consider myself a denomination. I consider myself a disciple of Christ. Through the years, I participated in different churches. Started with Calvary Chapel, long time ago. Was involved in a Methodist church for a while, Pentecostal Assemblies of God.
Mm.
Um, let's see, what was the last church? Was a Pentecostal church. The last church I was involved in. But I never considered myself a denomination. I consider myself. I used to think of myself as following Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm non-denominational myself.
Yeah.
What made you fall away from Christ?
I simply. I mean, I know this is going to sound weird, Ashton,
Hmm.
but I'm going to tell you my personal story. I studied my way out of Christianity.
Okay.
Okay. The things I thought were true, I eventually realized for me, and I don't decide what other people believe,
Of
but
course.
for me personally, I just didn't believe it anymore. All right. I kind of picked it apart, I guess, if you want to say. You know, it wasn't overnight. It was like a 3-year process. And I didn't want to leave Christianity. It wasn't like I wanted to leave. I wanted to believe it, but I got to a point where I personally could not believe it anymore.
I mean, it's understandable because it's never too late, obviously. But I wonder, because this is my very first time running across your channel in general, was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And so just whenever you say like you studied yourself out of it, like is there certain theological questions that you really struggle with? Was it the reliability of scripture in general and how we compile it? Like I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, it's so many things that we probably could talk for hours and hours and hours. All
Yeah,
right. But I'll give you two that were in the beginning when I first started studying independently without going to biblical commentary or without, listening to what people thought, but trying to do my own research for myself.
mhm,
Two things that come to mind that were early on was I used to be very, very literal on my interpretation of scripture. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that I literally believed everything word for word, but I did believe that everything in the Bible was true. When it talked about things like Adam and Eve and Genesis and the creation, I took it as being real, that really happened.
Of
All
course.
right. And then I studied maybe for 6 months, maybe about that long. I started researching evolution, human evolution, and evolution of species.
Absolutely.
And I came to understand that I believed that over Adam and Eve. All right. so I came to like discard that, and it made me more uh, progressive, I guess, in my theology. Right.
Hmm.
And I didn't leave Christianity because of that, but it was one of the first things. And then the total humanness of the Bible, the canon, how it was put together, um, who these people were and what they were writing, and could I actually look at it and feel that this is absolutely true?
Hmm.
And I seen human men all over it. Like, I started not seeing God. I started saying, "Oh, this is totally human." I mean, it became obvious to me that this was human beings who wrote this. All right,
Yeah.
and they wrote it with what they were thinking 2,000 years ago, and most of it no longer applied to me. It just didn't, like we were just talking about.
Hmm.
I mean, most of it was like, does that really apply to my life? And I'd be like, no, it doesn't. And I just started seeing it as a human invention rather than a God thing. So that was how it started. And then it went into specific critical analysis of the Bible,
Hmm.
uh, specific things, um, philosophy as well. Although I don't base much on philosophy, but studying the apologetics that I used to be into, I was into Christian apologetics, which a lot of it was philosophy, like Christian philosophy.
Hmm.
And then I started like poking holes in it. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. so little by little, these things started collapsing. And about 3 years into it, I I just was true to myself. All right. I was true to myself. I said, I, I don't believe it. and and that was it. And I haven't looked back, you know.
Understandable.
But that was
Well,
it.
I
And
appreciate
it
you.
really is so endless, honestly. It's like, you could talk for days and days and days on these things, right?
Yeah, it's.
You
I
know.
mean, because the reason that I agree with you is because, if it is true, I mean, this is something that we should talk for days and days and days about all the time. And if it's not true, I, because that's one thing that interests me about you is that you say that you were into Christianity and that you left it because you talked yourself out of it, but like here you are still interested in talking about it.
Let
It's
me
like it's
well,
like
let
you
me tell
want
you
to
the
leave.
reasons.
Yeah, for many reasons, for sure. But like I do want to say I appreciate you sharing your testimony with me. It means a lot. With evolution, I do understand. Um, I'm not necessarily against the thought of evolution, but it's like I run into the same issue, like of having these questions that are unanswerable because with evolution, it's like not just do you have to go from just random atoms and molecules, which turn into single cell organisms, which turn into multi billion trillion cell organisms, which turn into this, which turn into that, which all the way to us. Like it's the same thing. It's hard for me, just as it's hard for you to believe in Adam taking clay and breathing life into Adam, and God taking the rib of Adam and turning it to Eve, as is like that's hard for me to believe that we are a speck of dust which turned into what we are today.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a matter of perspective. and I understand that.
Yeah,
And I speak for myself. Okay, I don't
of
speak
course.
for atheism, right?
Yeah,
Because I'm my own person,
yeah, me as well. I'm not
But
speaking for Christianity as
yeah,
a
I
whole.
mean,
Yeah,
you're just a guy who's figuring it out for yourself.
yeah,
All
hundred
right. Well,
percent.
I'm the same way. All right. And Adam and Eve's story eventually that was one of the first things to collapse for me. I was like, and for me, I was like, this is obviously mythology. This
Mm,
is I can't understand reading that literally anymore. Like when I look back, I'm like, what was I thinking?
mm,
I mean, this is so obviously mythological. A snake, a this,
yeah,
talking snake, a tree in a garden, and I
no, I
mean, to me,
understand.
it was obviously allegory at best. You know, mythology that maybe has some truth in it.
Hmm.
So I got to that point. But by that point, if you continue down the road, so many things collapse. And evolution, I want to share this with you
Mm,
because evolution is not the easiest thing to study. All right. It's certainly a lot of information.
yeah,
Okay. So it's not something you can really understand quickly. All right. Most people will study that sort of stuff for a long time before they have a grasp of it because a lot of it is complicated when it gets into specific species and fossil records and
mm,
all this sort of stuff. So I'm not saying it's easy. I didn't understand evolution as a Christian. I will say that for myself. I didn't even understand it. I was like, I didn't put in the work. I didn't try to understand it. I didn't try to study. Okay. So I
yeah,
just was like, no, that just didn't happen. You know, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So for me, it was studying that and the original Adam and Eve story crumbled. And then from there, one thing after another.
mm,
And like I said, eventually I decided I did not believe this. I faced myself. I think that's very important. All right. I couldn't look at myself and say I believe this anymore. All
mm.
right. And since then, I think I've become a better person. Um,
Why do you think you've become a better person from it?
because I look at human beings as just that, another human being. I don't look at
Mm,
them as a particular faith, a particular belief system. All right. I think we all have something in common. And I think that that's where the best morality is built, on commonality. You have an interest like I have an interest. I think that, you know, human beings flourish. I don't think we probably both agree on much stuff.
mhm.
It's just the religious stuff we're going to disagree on, you
No,
know?
for sure.
So I
That's
kind of built my life around reason and thought. I trusted my own thoughts.
mm,
I didn't have to go to someone else to tell me what to think. These are some of the things that I think led me to be a better person. I mean,
mm,
I actually have more empathy for other human beings now than I did as a Christian.
mm,
All right. Because I saw the world as, this cosmic thing going on with the devil and the demons and the angels and the God and all this stuff happening, right?
mhm.
That human beings kind of got lost in that. If if that can even mean something to you. It's like, now it's like I look at a person for who they are and how they treat other human beings.
Yeah,
And I want to treat people better. All right. I'm not looking at them as lost, as wicked sinners, and any of that stuff. And
mm,
it's just my morality is based on the simple principle, which I talked about hours ago in this chat. My morality my whole foundation is as simple as what harms human beings or myself and what helps human beings or myself. And it's so simple for me. And I've become more clear in my thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I don't think about what a God is thinking. Right. It doesn't even enter my mind anymore.
well, I'm glad that you found more inner peace within yourself. And I'm happy that you are more happy in life.
I am more happy now. Now that
Oh,
does not mean it's that I have all truth, none of that.
no, for sure.
Again, I only speak for myself. I mean,
Absolutely.
but for me personally, I'm a happier person now. I'm more secure. I feel I'm more mentally stable.
Mm,
These are things that I value, and I think I'm a better person. I
yeah.
don't judge people as easily. All right, I like to put myself in their shoes more. All right, gee, I wonder what they're going through.
Mm,
Why maybe someone's acting out in a certain way. All right, why are they doing that?
yeah.
And those things I think have made me a better person. So
It's difficult for me because I've only been a Christian for maybe a year and a half, but it's difficult for me because prior it's hard to find purpose. Like whenever you talk about wanting to treat people better and being happier and being able to see people as humans, it's like without a divine purpose, it's like it's purposeless. Treating somebody nice is purposeless. It might be beneficial for the moment, but overarchingly, there's nothing stopping me from being self-centered and making sure only I'm taken care of. Which is because it's funny because the like exact reasons why you left Christianity are the exact reasons I am here.
yeah,
Is because
and
I
I
feel
and I
like
could understand that.
yeah,
But
I feel like
sometimes I look at it as two sides of a coin.
yeah,
It's like
we're both heads.
because I understand life change through Christianity. It's not like I think that's fake. I think
Hmm.
that occurs. So I'm not gonna put anyone down for something that they're using to better themselves and to become a better
Absolutely,
person. you know
absolutely.
it's just there comes a point for certain people. I'm gonna tell you this, Ashton,
Yeah.
because it's not about necessarily your journey or my journey. It's just we all have our own journey.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're experiencing something beautiful through this faith, I don't not going to take that from you. All
Yeah.
right, that's a nice thing, but I would like for you to consider that not everyone is experiencing what you do. All right, and some people don't need that. All right, they're not. I feel like at the time when I became a Christian, looking back, and I'm an old man now, I'm 62, I'm going to be 63 soon. All right. But when I look back, I was very insecure when I became a Christian. I didn't know myself. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
And I did bad things,
Of course.
and so I became a Christian, and at the time I think it had a useful purpose. So I'll even go there. But eventually, I feel I grew out of it and I no longer needed it. And that's the way I would describe it for me.
Understandable.
Right.
All right, brother Lou. Well, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel.
I appreciate it.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
don't be offended.
No, no,
Because
no, Lou.
I get cutting edge, but I do that for a reason. And
No,
the reason is I want people to think.
of
Okay.
course.
So I appreciate it, but I know Christians, some in my own family, right?
Mm,
One my one of my kids, okay, um, is a Christian and very devout. All right. And also, um, served in ministry for quite a long time. Okay. Now, when I first started posting atheist stuff, it hurt them. You know, and I'm being personal here.
Yeah.
All right. And I stopped for a while. Okay. Because I felt, well, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt people.
Yeah.
But eventually we came to understand each other better, I think. All right. And now it's like we don't really get all into it that much. All right. But I'm posting stuff that I feel and my thoughts.
Mhm.
Okay. And I know some Christians can be offended by my thoughts. So that's why I'm saying,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I appreciate you saying that. And the reality is, even if I personally am offended by what you say, I still love you.
No, I
Like
appreciate that.
there's nothing stopping, because the things that you say, that there's things connecting us, there's things that will connect us, and there's nothing you and I can do to change that. There's nothing. And
Yeah.
so
Well, I mean,
even
just realize when you watch my videos, you're going to see a lot of hard, cold atheist stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's completely understandable. There's no hard feelings felt. And if it doesn't offend you, is it okay if I have you in my prayers in the future?
Always never offends me.
Okay.
Now, I don't believe it's going to do anything.
It's okay. It's more than okay to me.
Yeah.
But
I have a lot of people praying for me,
yeah,
including pastors and others. And,
that's good. That means a lot of
and,
people care about you.
and I don't mind that at all because I take it as a good gesture. I mean, I take it as, they're trying to do something that they feel will help me,
Yes.
but I can't change my mind because somebody prays.
100%. No. No, and I can't change your mind, because there's only one person who can in my life that can, brother. And I don't tell that guy what to do. So
I
I
hear you.
appreciate your time very much.
All right, I appreciate you.
Have a good
And
night.
whatever happens on your journey, I want you to be happy and I want you to have a good life,
Of
however that
course.
looks. All right.
The same
You
for
know,
you.
that's what I want for all people, really.
Yeah.
I want people to live good, honorable lives.
Hmm.
You know.
I agree with you. You do your
Cool.
best to do that, and I'll do mine, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you later.
All right, man. Thank you. Another great conversation. So I'm going to end it here. I appreciate so many people who came in and uh, participated in the chat and also the on stage. Appreciate it immensely. Um, Hopefully, you could see where I'm coming from a little better. All right. And if you don't not subscribe to my channel, please do like the video, algorithm stuff. Right. And my channel is open to opposing viewpoints. So have a good night. Thank you for everyone that participated. I enjoyed it. Have a good night. Bye.